What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Soul Hoops podcast. My name is Jeffrey Guerra. I'm joined by Matthias Lindgren and Ryan Hines. We're back with another episode of our divisional previews. We're going to be talking a little bit about ball. We also have a guest that we'll be bringing on in a little bit here. But to start off, how are you guys doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. Just finished up the school week. 'Cause no classes on Fridays, but school starting to ramp up. We've got like more assigned readings and more projects to be working on. So that's eating up more of my time. But also, I'm addicted to playing NBA 2K, so that's also taking up all my time. So yeah,
I feel that.
I sadly do not have the luxury of the free Friday. I don't know what that's about, but
it's a Midwest tradition.
It is.
Yeah, I've just been school, same old, nothing really crazy.
Yeah.
Wait on next gen console because I don't want old gen 2K is just
not worth playing.
Recycled.
No.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. I've been doing the same. School's ramping up for me. Obviously, first week. I have this really hilarious class that I'm taking to fill credits. It's called computer applications. It's my first assignment was like learning how to use Windows, and like it was like sign in to the user with this password, and I was like, let's go. This is an exam right now.
Yeah.
It's like 100 points. So yeah, I was enjoying that. But yeah, school's definitely ramping up though, starting a lot of but we'll get through it. We'll get through it nice and easy. But then to start off today, not much basketball news that's worth really talking about. Only thing is that FIBA wrapped up last week, right after we recorded. I think it actually was on Friday.
Yeah.
It ended up as the standings fell. Germany won the whole thing, which is actually their first ever world championship in basketball, which is pretty good for them because I feel like they've finished like second or third. Like they finish second or third like every year. The silver medal, is it medal or is it trophy?
It's medal. Yeah, silver medal.
So silver medal was Serbia without Jokic. So that's crazy. That is crazy.
Very, very impressive.
And then bronze was Canada, and then the U.S. got fourth, which is a very disappointing finish. I don't know. I'm
not shocked though, dude.
I'm not shocked, but I'm very disappointed on the way that we actually went out in regards to that. Like,
it was sad.
The drop off of how they were playing at the beginning, and honestly, my biggest disappointment for the whole tournament, which we talked about earlier. One of them was Brandon Ingram. Like, I don't know what was going on, but like you just did not hear his name at all. No. I thought his game would be very easily translatable to the international game. It's a lot slower paced. There's less spacing, so mid-range, creation and finishing is high, and high level shooting is like very useful, and playmaking. But like he just did not look comfortable out there. I don't really know what it was, to be honest. I don't know if it was just too many, like a lot of the guards were taking too much out of his hands. I mean, like him and Jalen Brunson being on the court together a lot, like just was gross. Like it didn't really look right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the fit with a lot of the starters was pretty awkward all around. I mean, Jalen Brunson had a really good start to the Team USA campaign, but as time went on, it just became increasingly more clear that I think Tyrese Halliburton was much better than him this tournament.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Kerr should have looked to start him, especially in those elimination games against Canada and Germany the second time. But also Jaren Jackson Jr.
What?
Just weird. Steve Kerr played him. Steve Kerr was playing him out of position and was asking him to do things that he
is not good at.
And didn't win defensive player of the year doing.
And he wasn't asked to do during camp.
Yeah.
Like he won player
or even early in the
camp.
Even earlier in the tournament, he was not asked to be like a rebounding drop.
Also, it's FIBA. Double big lineups are like where you can get away with that stuff. Kessler, I think, should have been
Daniel
out
Tice
there.
was playing the 4.
Yeah. Kessler should have been out there in a FIBA situation.
Yeah.
Or the team, like we all praised like the team building philosophy that went behind this like months ago, right? Because we saw all these like young up and coming guys who played fast, could all space, get ahead in transition. But really, what happened was all the other teams in the tournament were bigger than the U.S. and they played slower than the U.S. and the U.S. just couldn't adapt to that. And Jaren playing the 5 was really a classic example of that because for some reason he played, yes, he did play a lot of minutes at the 5. I think he played most of his minutes at the 5 last year, but the starting lineups and the lineups they went to late in games were always next to like a Steven Adams or a Brandon Clark or a Xavier Tillman, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, so like even when Jaren was playing the 5 during the regular season, like Brandon Clark tore his Achilles towards the end of the season. So in that in-between area where they were running a lot of Jaren at the 5 before Brandon Clark got injured, but after Steven Adams got injured, during that period, like Jaren is always going to be best when he has a better rebounder next to him. He's not a strong rebounder. He can play the 5 defensively and size-wise, like as an actual defender. But honestly, like where his defense does drop off at the 5 is the rebounding capability. He's not a strong rebounder.
100%.
And rebounding is a play. It's the play finisher of the defensive side of the ball. If you can't have a strong rebounding lineup, then you're not going to be a good lineup overall, especially in international play where it's not high paced. You're not getting up a lot of shots. You have to make every single possession count. You have to be very efficient in your way that you're playing basketball, So I just wasn't a fan of running that type of lineup. Kessler got like no run. I thought even in the minutes where Bobby Portis and Jaren Jackson Jr. Were on the court, I think Bobby's a pretty good rebounder as well. Obviously, he averaged he would have averaged a double-double off the bench if he didn't account for a couple games he got injured. But like being able to work like as like a long rebound guy or a guy that can go up and get putbacks is really important when there's someone playing when you're playing next to Jaren Jackson Jr. And they just completely ignored that aspect of the game completely. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think Kerr got outcoached near the end of that tournament.
He did.
Yeah.
Like not putting Kessler in is just like inexplicable.
And especially if you want a guy to do dirty work, rebounding, shot blocking, and like playing like as like a drop coverage or hedging and whatever you want him to do, Kessler is so much better than that than Jaren Jackson. Like if Jaren Jackson is playing the 4 next to Kessler, that's literally that's Draymond and Kevon Looney like on steroids.
Yeah, they win the tournament if that happens. Like just weird. I think weird coaching decisions from Kerr down the stretch. We kind of mentioned the Jalen Brunson thing, but yeah, overall, like from the U.S. side of things, obviously like Anthony Edwards was really impressive, and Austin Reeves, Tyrese Halliburton. Mikal Bridges was really, really good. I think people aren't talking enough about how Mikal Bridges was playing for Team USA because he was like so consistently good every game. I felt like on offense and on defense,
and I think that's really can be applied to just Mikal is one of those guys that he will do whatever you ask him to do. He has the ability to do whatever 100%. You need him to do. You want him to guard the best player on the team, no matter who it is, other than like obviously like he's not going to guard like a true 5, but like he can guard 1 through 4. He'll guard the best player on the other team. You want him to spot up, he'll do that, and he'll be very good at it. Now we're seeing a little bit more creation ability being displayed, but like he'll do whatever you ask him to do as a role player, or as if you need him to do his thing, he'll do that as well. So I'm really looking forward to this Brooklyn season because I think there's some people out there that don't think that this like Mikal run is going to continue how it was. So I don't know, but I really think it will overall.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing about Steve Kerr is that, sorry to go off topic a little bit.
No, you're good.
But he did find a little nice piece with Paulo at center.
Yeah.
So like, he didn't do a great job, but that worked really well. And I think a lot of people got excited over that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, because Kerr got outcoached, but I want to give him some light because he did do some good.
Yeah, for sure. But ultimately, it just kind of felt like Team USA felt like they fell flat on their face a little bit. Like I felt like they had a ton of momentum. leading up through the exhibition games and then the first and second round of the tournament, it just felt like they were on fire. And I was like, we were all pretty much sure they were going to win the whole thing because they just looked like the best team. But they just kind of fizzled out. It was ugly, that game against Canada where they played Canada for third place. Dylan Brooks drops 39 points and hits 7 threes.
Yeah.
Gives me Grant Williams flashbacks, dude. I mean, they were just they were all open too. Like a lot of them were just wide open. Like, they were just letting him just shoot. Also, like
that was their strategy.
I don't know what was going through their heads. I don't know if it was like a Kerr reminding of this like Memphis like Warriors BS from like 2 years ago, but like, dude, Dylan Brooks is like a good player. Like if you let him shoot the basket, like he had
a really bad shooting season last year.
Yeah, before that,
that's not who he was.
Yeah, it's not. And he also was being stupid last year with his shooting. He was trying to shoot off the dribble, even if it was a catch and shoot opportunity. Like I'm still gonna dribble and sidestep and do dumb stuff. Like, whatever. But yeah, and also I just want to give while we wrap up talking about FIBA here a little bit. Shea, man, anyone who thinks that dude is not gonna be like a top 10 player in the NBA within the next like year or two is like you're lying to yourself. Like that dude is different. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like the way he does whatever he wants to on the basketball court. Like legit 3-level scorer, playmaker. He's good on defense too. Like
his defense, I think it's actually overshadowed a lot. People don't talk about it. And dude. He just cuts through the defense. Like he can get anything he wants.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I think he's confident in his 3-point shot. I just think he doesn't need to take it.
Yeah. He would rather shoot. He would rather just go to because
he can just and get to the rim.
It's one of those things where he's like the anti James Harden. I don't know if that makes sense, but like if analytics is telling you that why are you driving off of kickouts or whatever or closeouts?
Oh yeah.
Analytics a lot of times tells teams and players to not drive off of kickouts to allow the kickout or the closeout. God, I keep getting that. The closeout to come past you, take a side step and shoot a 3. You shouldn't go in the mid range. It's more efficient to shoot a 3, even if you're a good mid range shooter. It's also not good to go to the lane. But like he's gonna go to the lane off of closeouts on catch and shoot opportunities. He's going to go to the lane and finishing at the rim. It's making a layup is the easiest thing to do in basketball.
Yeah,
it's the first.
In my opinion, that's what you should try to do every time. Your goal every time you get down the floor should get the easiest bucket. Yeah, it doesn't matter unless there's certain situations when you need a 3.
Yeah,
and he can do it in. Oh my god, his finishing is so creative.
Yeah, he's such a great finisher.
Traffic, floaters. Yeah. Oh my god, he's got everything.
Yeah, Shea is so good. I'm glad we talked about him for a little bit because he's unstoppable one-on-one. Like I don't think there's a single player who can guard him one-on-one. Like he's just gonna cook him. Like in that USA game, it's like he knew what was gonna happen like at least 4 steps ahead of time, and didn't matter which defender was on him. Like Mikal Bridges didn't even matter. He would just like. It's like he decided how he was going to score against them, and he would just do it. Like Luka, obviously, I think is like amazing, and I think he probably was the best player in the whole tournament. But I think Shea is number 2, if not, you could say he's number 1.
Yeah,
even that's how good Shea was.
Just talking about highlights that he's had up for his handle, he had 2 or 3 ankle breakers in the tournament.
Yeah, he had
like he racks them up.
I think it was Mikal. I think he made Mikal like touch earth. Like he had him on the ground.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. There's one guy that Shea has problems with, and it's Drew Holiday.
That's a lot of people, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, obviously, but that's one guy, and I think it's also because Drew is like, he's kind of like the Shea of defense. Like, whatever you think you're beating him on, he knows you're going to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's baiting you so you can do a move.
Yeah.
A lot.
Do you guys got any more thoughts about FIBA?
That's all I have really.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, it was a fun tournament. Olympics next year should be very interesting. There's a lot of teams that are really open right now. I think, Braun said he's calling an event like the Avengers. So
We'll see.
I don't know how much that's really going to go through.
I don't know if it does though. I don't. A starting lineup of like, it would be like Booker. I don't know who would start the war, but like Booker. Oh yeah, Steph, Booker,
maybe Steph or Dame.
LeBron, KD, and Anthony Davis is like.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, and then off the bench, it's going to be like Bam,
like Tatum.
Oh, I forgot about Bam.
Tatum.
Tatum.
Paul George. It would be so good.
Yeah, but I hope those guys go back and play. It's fun. It's fun when those guys play. All right.
My thing is, I wonder how those bodies are going to hold up and if they'll actually want to do it after the whole season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we will be bringing on our guest now, and then we will be getting right into the divisional preview for the Atlantic Division then. All right. So we are now welcoming on Tyler Hugh onto the podcast, Who Has Hoops member. Going to be talking about the Atlantic Division today, going through those teams, which consists of the Raptors, Nets, Knicks, Sixers, and Celtics. How are you doing, Tyler? Welcome onto the podcast.
I'm doing well, guys. Really happy to be here. Really grateful to be with you guys. And I'm excited to talk about the best division in basketball. I mean, the only division that matters, of course. But I'm currently watching Thursday Night Football, kind of chilling, just got off work. And vibes are high right now.
Awesome.
Good to hear. So we'll be doing it in a similar manner to what we did the last episode with. We'll give a basic rotation, and then we'll just go through and talk about some notable narratives or just roster and how we think these teams are going to pan out. So we're going to start with the Raptors. So Ryan will start us off once again with the basic rotation of going through there.
So for the Raptors starting lineup, I've got written down Dennis Schroeder at the 1, Scotty Barnes at the 2, OG Anunoby at the 3, Pascal Siakam at the 4, Jakob Poeltl at the 5.
Yeah.
It's gross. Like, the lack of shooting on that starting 5 is like horrible, and we'll get to that. But then the bench, looking like Grady Dick, Gary Trent Jr., Jalen McDaniels, Precious Achiuwa, and Thaddeus Young, maybe.
Yeah. Otto Porter again. Did you say Otto Porter?
And then like Chris Boucher, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought about them, but Otto Porter never plays. He's always hurt. So
with the guard issues, Malachi Flynn is going to play.
He could play for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if we're being 100% honest, they should just move Dennis Schroeder to the bench and start Gary Trent Jr., start Scotty at the 1. It makes so much more roster construction sense. But,
I've said the same thing. I've been saying point Scotty is the way to go.
Right.
I just don't think Scotty is ever going to be like a real like creation jump shooting threat. And I think he's going to be a slashing, like can stretch at times, very up and down shooter throughout his career. But I think the playmaking that has potential. And I think that's developing that is like literally the number one thing that they can be doing right now, because they're really their only chance at developing into like a high level all-star to superstar level player, honestly, on this roster.
Yeah.
And I think Schroeder, he provides some experience for that kind of terrible bench, I guess. Especially with Grady Dick. You want Grady Dick to be out there with Schroeder, who can kind of run the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know their lineups are probably going to be very staggered because they have a lot of versatility looking at that thing. But just on paper, you'd much rather have Dick running off.
Yeah, I like Dennis Schroeder personally. I mean,
I saw that.
I know. I had to. Couldn't hold it in.
We have to get it out. I like Dennis Schroeder. I mean, not as a starting point guard by any means, but as a bench guy, like, he's not that old, but he's been on a lot of teams, and like a lot of teams that have made noise in the playoffs, like the Lakers, like that Thunder team that took the Rockets to 7 in the bubble.
What a fun team that was. That 3-guard lineup was sick.
I love that team.
Didn't Lou Dort have like 35 in the closeout game and then get stuck by James Harden?
He blocked Harden too. Yeah,
such a weird game. Such a weird series.
Weird
team.
Is
that where that
team.
Schroeder video where he's like smiling as he's like coming down the floor?
Yeah. But like, and he just won MVP of the FIBA World Cup. Like, it's hilarious.
No, he's a good player.
So he's a good player, and it's surprising that like, just like summer of 2022, I think it was, he didn't even get a single contract offer from a team. Mm-hmm. He was just like a free agent, and he had to wait for like the Lakers or something to pick him up. But
I can't believe he turned down that, like, what was it, like a 4-year, $80 million contract or something?
Was that real though?
Yeah,
it was 4 for 84. Yeah,
because he posted that it's like a picture he posted on IG, and it's him with like a bunch of like luggage, and he's like, quote this with memes or whatever, because of the like bag fumbling.
I will say the redemption arc, the Dennis Schroeder redemption arc is pretty cool. I'm glad to see he's back in the NBA and like doing his thing, really just like playing really well, playing his role last year with the Lakers.
He got paid too.
Yeah, he got 2 years, 26. So
that's
pretty good. That's good money.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's especially like even going back to like his days in Atlanta, I always thought that he had like potential as a really young guard, like when he was there, because like Dennis came into the league like really young. Like he's like a vet, he's like a long tenure vet, but he's only 30. Like he's not that old. So like
wow.
Yeah, so you think he's much older than that?
As a pro too, so he came more a little mature, right?
Yeah,
right,
for sure. So I always thought he had that, but I never thought he would be like a all-star type guy. Like I kind of thought he might be able to be that, but in the end of the day, like being a good role player is also like super valuable. So I don't really think there's much to talk about with this team. They do have that new coach coming in who like stole what was it, like stole like secrets from the Knicks.
Secrets, it's like synergy stats that everybody has access
all of our,
to,
like data and analytics or some stuff like that. It's really confusing. They did that all. I mean, that's the only reason they won 3-0 against us last year. But they did all that to miss the playoffs. So jokes on them.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the fact that the Raptors are built very poorly, and it seems like they're going to be a bad team that is experienced enough to be not bad enough.
Yeah.
What do they do? How do they get out of the purgatory? Because right now it feels like it's Scotty's the only hope. I don't know how they're bad enough unless they get
really lucky. My thought is blow it up, build around Scotty and Grady Dick, and whatever picks you can get. Tell Masai Ujiri to stop being so stubborn and thinking that his players are worth way more than they actually are. OG Anunoby, let's be real, is not worth 3 first-round picks. Maybe to like a
maybe could have had Shaden in a first or a couple firsts, and they said no.
Exactly. Like think like maybe a team like Memphis, like where they're a wing away and their picks are gonna be like late 20s. Then maybe it makes sense 3 first round picks. But let's be real, like OG, Siakam, Gary Trent Jr. Like trade all the vets you can trade. Keep a couple around for just for veteran presence, like a Dennis Schroeder, Thaddeus Young, but blow it up. Let Scotty and Grady Dick do the thing. Go get Montes Buzelis or Ron Holland or whoever you can. Hope to God
they don't have their first this year.
Oh, nice! They're so well run. Let's go.
The Spurs have their pick, I believe.
Spurs do have
unbelievable.
That was from the we've talked about that. But the Jakob Poeltl trade was one of the weirdest trades last deadline because it didn't make any sense. It made no sense.
Right.
They have their first next year, though, right?
Yeah.
Poeltl next to Wemby would have made so much sense, though. To be honest, that would have been very nice. Like instead, I mean, Siakam's a free agent after this offseason. Do we think he resigns? I don't really think so.
I have no idea. I think he really likes Toronto, but also I have no idea.
Right. Toronto has the chance to give him the biggest bag out of any team, so I guess he'd stay, but let's be honest. Is he worth what, $50 million? No. He's 30 years old. No. He's not going to get much better from here. Yeah, no, that team is so poorly run, especially because Scotty, like I don't think Scotty's their second best player. I'm not a Scotty guy at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
But him and Siakam are like your 2 technical like best players or your best building blocks. They are very similar players. Just one is much worse than the other. Why are they the same? Like, why are you building around the same exact player who have obvious limitations to their game?
Yeah,
like it makes no sense what they're doing. But I'm not one
different timelines.
Right, exactly. I'm not one to complain. I'm a Knicks fan. The Raptors being bad is good for me. So
yeah, and it was even like a little bit easier to rationalize last year because you had Fred VanVleet, who's like more of a table setting point guard who can like make it work enough to where it's not like that hard on the eyes, but even then he couldn't really by himself salvage that offense. Yeah, the shooting from Fred VanVleet honestly like made it worse, but without that kind of player, it's just really bad. Like the redundancy at the forward position for them is like it's just gross, and it makes for like aesthetically unpleasing basketball, and it doesn't like actually produce anything on the court. Like they suck. They just do.
Yeah. They're the most painful to watch 35 and 47 team I've ever seen. Let's put it that way.
We'll just see if they'll rebuild this season or if they'll go into a rebuild next offseason when they actually have their pick. I don't know. I think they should just scramble, get picks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, like, even if you don't have your pick and you choose to rebuild and they sell off because I don't think they're obviously it's too late in the off season for them to sell before the season starts.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say they go
desperation fire sale.
Let's say we go on a fire sale in February around the trade deadline time. Even if you don't have your picks and you're bad, getting 2 to 3 first round picks from teams that'll be in the upcoming draft, if you can do that, I think that'd still be okay.
Yeah, plus I'm more just thinking.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm more thinking like, if you just tank, you're just tanking for another team that also might suck, and you're given like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's just when you can trade post draft when you don't have any plans for that draft. Because right now it seems like looking at their contracts, they have
a lot of expired
plans to compete for the play-in, I guess.
Right. They signed Pirtle to they signed Pirtle to a 4-year deal, $78 million this offseason. That's like they have expiring deals. Then they sign, and I'd say average, slightly above average center to a long-term deal. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like Masai got a very good reputation, as he should have. He was very good GM, but I think you have like a time limit of when you can be a good GM, and there becomes a time when that reputation, like I feel like GM's front offices is very reputational based, like on how we value them. It's not about what you're doing for me right now. It's what you've been doing for me over the last few years, which is true because front offices are most of the time fans and players are looking 1 year out. Usually front offices are looking like 3 to 5 years out usually.
Right.
But even then the 3 to 5 year window deals aren't doing anything either. Like I just don't understand what the point of it is. Like, what is it? What is it accomplishing? I just don't know. Like, it's probably just the most confusing team, like goal wise. Do you want to make the playoffs? It seems like it, but your roster construction doesn't show that you're going to have a fluid enough team to actually make the playoffs in any capacity. Or even when you get to the playoffs, what is the value in making the playoffs that much and holding on to all this and not getting assets back to be the 8th seed?
Right.
Do one play in game like last year and get absolutely killed.
Do you guys know their luxury tax status?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you go ahead. Yeah, I don't.
No, go ahead.
They're negative. They're negative 30. They're negative 30 this year, but next year they have 57 million in cap.
Okay.
Yeah, they can spend on. Jaylen Brown got extended. They have nothing to spend on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could just
unless their plan is to
it's half competing, and it's like they're making money as a franchise.
Unless their plan is to go OKC style. Unless their plan is to go OKC style, open up a bunch of money and sell off once you have money open because you can take back bad contracts and vets and flip them for firsts. Which, if they end up doing that, then good for them. Like, but I don't know if they're going to. They've had no indication that they're actually willing to trade these pieces.
So. Yeah, Masai Ujiri. Yeah, Masai Ujiri's reputation is amazing. I mean, that guy, he has the best PR team in all of basketball, I'd say, by a country mile. If you see the way Woj tweets about him, that man, Woj carries a lot of water for Ujiri. And let's be honest, none of those moves recently have really moved the needle. I don't think Masai Ujiri's done a great job since the Kawhi move. I think he's significantly very, very overrated. And
also, I think that Gary Trent move was pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's about it. But
but even then, he's a good role player to fit in when you have two all-star level guys, where Fred VanVleet was an all-star level guy like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And Pascal, he's a good guy to bring in for that. Mm-hmm. But what's the point of like I mean, he's 25, like he's still young-ish.
He's
but like,
young, yeah.
Is Gary Trent developing like a bag? Like, is he developing into like a shot creator? No,
he's just he's an elite shooter. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and also he's a young piece that you could have next to your young core. As like, so he might leave by the time the contending window gets there after the rebuild, but he helps Scotty and Grady Dick learn how to play with that prototype role player, because you need to play with those types of players at some point in your career.
Right. Yeah. Like, and I have no problem with that. Like, I'm much more for the advocate of having veterans on the roster than just going complete youth movement. It's been disastrous for teams like Houston, like absolutely disastrous. Like, horrible. So like, I understand that, and having like guys who have been around the league, even if they are younger, having guys that have been around the league for 5-ish years, like that's even good, because they know how to play professional basketball. So it's like, but even then, it's like, you could have vets on the roster, but like the valuable role players that you have, you're not flipping them for assets when they're not providing value to the actual organization. Like, obviously they're good players. Like Gary Trent Jr. is a good player to have on a team, but like, what value is he bringing to a mid-tier Eastern team that's like a play-in team? Like he's like more of like a KCP type guy. Like, you put him on a contender like the Nuggets,
like a Buddy Hield.
Yeah, or
like
Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Like, if Gary Trent Jr. was starting at the 2 on the Bucks, that'd be like insane. He'd be so valuable. Yeah. But like, it's like he's not. He's on like a team with no real like certified bucket getter. I mean, Pascal is
their spacing.
He's the only spacing on the entire roster outside of now Grady Dick. But it's like, but even then, like, also drafting Grady Dick 13th overall.
He's a rookie.
Like, he's good, but like, Grady Dick's not gonna, like, I don't really think Grady Dick has the ceiling to be like a all-star. Like,
he can just be the next Gary Trent Jr.
Exactly.
He's that player, really.
Yeah, literally.
They were drafting like they were one role 3-and-D glue guy away from competing for like a real playoff spot, and it's like, no, you are like an actual offensive playmaker away, which is a lot harder to draft. And Grady Dick does not scale to be one at all.
If they would have traded Pascal or OG to the Blazers for the 3rd overall, that's the type of guy you need.
No. I would have jumped off a building.
Scoot and Scotty, I like that, man.
But like, that's the type of prospect that they need.
Right. They need a needle mover. They don't have
except they're bringing in Garrett Temple.
They had their chance, dude. They had their chance.
Jeff Dowden. That's Jeff Dowden. That's their needle mover.
Yeah.
Or even Anthony Simons.
No, we threw him Anthony Simons and Seal Little and a pick, I think, and they said
for who? Siakam? For OG?
Yeah. Oh wait, it was Anthony and I think a pick, and they said, or like 7, and they said no. It was during the Shaden draft. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Masai Ujiri's an idiot.
Yeah. And then
for sure.
Apparently there was another one this year for the 3, or it was like Shaden in 21 or something like that. But I think those were for Pascal, not for OG.
Yeah.
Man, please get Masai Ujiri a reality check. I can't even speak. I get angry talking about that man.
There's so many rumors though about the Blazers draft, so it's like it's so hard to track.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I feel bad. I feel terrible for you.
Okay, there's whistleblowers everywhere. Like, what's real, what's fake? No one knows to this day.
And the whole game situation just stinks. Yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I've been there.
Oh my god.
Well, I feel like we've hated on the Raptors enough. Let's give our predictions for where they finished. For me, last year they finished 41-41 as the 10th seed or the 9th seed. 10th seed.
Yeah.
No, they were the 9 seed.
They lost in the play-in.
They lost in the play-in and then to the Bulls. I think of this team as like, I think their ceiling is like the 10th seed if everything goes right. But realistically, I think it's like probably going to be like the 11th, somewhere between 10 and 12.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I there's a world where their ceiling I think could be like the 8th seed if, let's say, Scotty Barnes next year is like just amazing. Like, he takes the third-year leap of third-year leaps.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
he's just insane,
Okay.
and Pascal is like insane. Like, they don't have they aren't Detroit and Washington where they have like bad players. Like, they have some good players. They don't fit together, but they have some good players. And I think there's a universe where they end up as the 8th seed, and then for their floor, I think it's like 13, 14. Like, I'm counting on them being like 12, 13, 14. Like,
I think
they're gonna suck. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know if they'll actually necessarily be like an 8 seed or that good, but I do agree that they have good players, and if you want to bank on a Scotty Barnes development, it's not crazy to say the Raptors might be a solid team. They might be an 8. Right. Honestly, it's not crazy.
I'm not saying they will, but they could.
Yeah, I'm not, and I don't even think they're a crazy Scotty Barnes like all-star leap away from being an 8 or 7 seed. I think they're a Scotty improvement, and maybe if Grady Dick is actually like come and perform now guy, shit, maybe they don't miss a lot of flow on offense, and this new offense comes in and it fits better. They now have another spacer. They got 2. It's going to be exciting. It might be exciting times.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
No, but
I cannot.
Realistically, I think they're going to be like a 9 to 12 seed. They just don't have enough. I'll bet on them being an 11 seed. I bet on them missing the play-in.
Yeah,
especially if they sell halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I said they're the most uncertain team in the NBA. Brand new head coach, Darko Rajakovic. The guy he's been assistant for the last 9 years with the Thunder, Suns, Grizzlies. We don't really know much about him. 3 pretty reputable organizations, with the exception of the Suns. I think this is before they became good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But my gut says their ceiling is the 9 seed, and my realistic hater self says they're going to be the 13th seed. So we'll settle somewhere in the middle. Actually, no, we're going to go to 1 down, 12th seed, and they're going to stink. I wrote my notes. Should be tanking, but let's put it here: 37 and 45, 12th seed.
There you go.
Even with the numbers, okay, I like it.
Yeah, I put a little record prediction for each team.
I think they could be around where Indiana finished last year. They had 35 wins last year, and they were the 12th seed or something, 13th, whatever it was.
But like much less exciting.
Yeah, much less exciting to get.
Also, just Pete Ryan, nice shirt. I like the shirt.
Thank you.
Nas Reed.
100%.
Nas Reed.
Yeah. Raptors are for sure going to be point. I would not be shocked though if they finish somewhat around 500. Like.
Yeah,
they are there's like the League Pass like must watch teams.
Yeah,
they are a League Pass must not watch teams. I will be actively avoiding watching Raptors games
unless they're watching unless they're playing the Timberwolves. Like, I'm not watching.
I will not watch a single Raptors game. I will toss on a couple. No, I won't. I'm lying. I won't even toss on highlights. I can't even watch that. No. They're so. I don't even like any of their players besides like maybe Grady Dick and OG Anunoby. I like a little bit of Siakam. He's cool.
Yeah,
I love Siakam.
But even then, Siakam's not like he's good as hell, but he's not like fun to watch.
He's like smarter Julius Randle, and I already watched 82 games of Julius Randle. So, come on, I can take a break.
Yeah, for real. Okay, well then we'll get into the next team, which is the Brooklyn Nets. Last year they finished at 45 and 37, much boosted record from KD and Kyrie. Obviously, they finished as the 6th seed. I don't know if you got the rotation up for them, Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, so their starting lineup is really weird because like Ben Simmons just kind of throws a wrench into everything they were kind of working on last year as far as starting lineup. So I just have like either Spencer Dinwiddie or Ben Simmons are going to be running the point. And then Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson are both playing. And then Nick Claxton at the 5, obviously. And then off the bench, some combination of like a Dennis Smith Jr., Lonnie Walker, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Darius Baisley, Trendon Watford.
Yeah.
Is Royce O'Neal? Are you putting Royce O'Neal at the 3 or 4 starting lineup? Yeah. I'm assuming.
Royce O'Neal probably not a starter. No.
Okay, so coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench.
Ari's gonna kill you when he watches this.
Yeah. My bad, Ari.
I mean, it's their starting point guard is the question, because do they start both Ben and Spencer? And it's like, I think it's one of those things where like, can you start Ben and Royce O'Neal with Mikal and Cam? I don't know. Like, I don't think you can. I think if you start Ben at the 1, you have to start Spencer.
Yeah, and that because like if you have Bennett the 1 and Claxton out there, it's already 2 non-spacers, and once you have 3 non-spacers, then you're getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah. Then you're getting into Toronto Raptors territory, and you don't want to be there.
You want to be far away from that. Far away from that.
If there's a charting of spacing, you do not want to be in the Raptors.
Right. That is bad hoops. You want to be right now. The Nets are below average hoops, but not bad hoops.
Yeah,
I'd say it that way.
Yeah,
they're gonna be interesting though. Like very interesting. They're in a weird spot, obviously, the whole KD Kyrie situation. They got a good return for it. Mikal and Cam Johnson are both really good players.
Yeah,
Mikal's been a great return.
Yeah, DFS from the Kyrie trade, solid, I guess. Good. I mean,
good
great
role player.
Great role player. Every team could use DFS, but they're weird. Like they have the capability. If Ben Simmons is fully healthy, they have the capability to be the best defense in the league. That being said, if they win games, it's gonna be like 87 to 85.
Yeah, their defense really sticks out to me as being really good.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah,
because with the defenders they have, like Nick Claxton anchoring your defense, Ben Simmons, if he's back to even like 80% of what he was in 2021 on the perimeter. Mikal Bridges is a great defender. They've got other defensive players. DFS can guard a little bit. Darius Baisley can guard a little bit off the bench. Cam
even
Johnson,
DSJ. DSJ had a great defensive year.
He did. They got him too. Cam Johnson can guard a little bit. He's capable for sure. This team is weird, but it's like a fun version of weird.
Yeah,
right.
I think they're going to be a really, really fun team.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be like a fun team in the fact that you're going to tune in because they're going to be running 12 different funky defensive schemes all throughout the season because they can throw 8 6'6" plus athletic bodies at you, and not worry about it. And a lot of them can guard 1 through 4, like 2 through 5 or whatever, and not worry about it.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna be one of the most exciting defensive teams in the league, easily.
Definitely, I agree. I feel like if you remember the pre-KD Kyrie, the 2018 Nets where they shocked everybody and made the playoffs. I don't think that they're that good. I don't think they're that good, but I think that, like this team is like a defensive first version of that 2018 team.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I love to watch.
Team. You have no expectations for that team. You don't know what's going on, but screw it. It's vibes. So I feel like this team could be that in the sense of like, oh, we don't know anything, but it could be really fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting team. Plus, I really think the run thing you can highlight on what really is going to be wide open is going to be the point guard play. I think the forwards and backup, center, all that kind of stuff, like that's wrapped up. I think whoever starts and gets in that point guard rotation between Ben Simmons, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dennis Smith Jr., like those guys, like because they need someone. They need someone who can to play.
Right, and I don't think
they have no lead playmakers.
Yeah,
they really have no lead playmakers. Look at
Ben Simmons, if he can be some version.
I don't even prove it. If he goes back to himself,
well, yeah, he has to prove it.
He has to prove it. Looking
at workout videos are about to fool me, real quick.
No, we've been through it.
They're not fooling me. No, sir.
They're looking at this. The best playmaker is Spencer Dinwiddie or Trendon Watford. Right?
Ooh.
Like
really?
Who's a better like and Ben Simmons? Like, are any of those guys lead playmakers?
No. Yeah, they don't have any lead playmakers.
No.
Or even I don't know, because like
a lot of those guys
is someone who needs
tertiary playmakers.
Yeah,
right.
Claxton needs a playmaker to be able to operate like as a lob guy. Like in the playoffs, they probably had like 10 to 15 missed points a game because Spencer Dinwiddie couldn't hit Claxton on a roll.
Right, he threw a lob off the top of the backboard,
and
then you'd see Ari Ridge tweeting, and then he'd just be like, I'd just be like, all right, what are we doing here?
Which is like, it's like if there's someone that can operate with Nick Claxton as a pick and roll guy, like, because let's be honest, Ben Simmons does not want to shoot the basketball, like, and he doesn't have to, but if he can play make and get open, generate some sort of ball movement on this team, that's really all they need. Even if he can't do it as a primary ball handler, he still has the passing IQ. He just needs to be able to be in a mindset to do it.
Mikal Bridges pass playmaking leap on the way.
I hope so, dude. I hope so.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
That would be sick. I don't really think it's in him.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's definitely not going to happen. As a person who's watched Mikal Bridges since his freshman year at Nova, it's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
No. I do think they're going to compensate for the lack of playmaking with playing with pace. Looking at these guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like looking at their bench, all these guys are going to catch it and go.
They can run.
And there are a lot of these guys are good defenders, which usually means they're high IQ players, which means they can make at least a simple read in the fast break.
Right.
Usually
steals and deflections too.
Yeah, like, they understand the game enough to be a good defender that they can make simple reads. Right. So I think they're going to push the pace and be really fun. I think they're going to chuck a bunch of outside threes too.
Yeah, I think Jacques Vaughn is also a good coach. Like,
yes,
like
he's solid. Yeah,
yeah. Like I think he didn't have much time last year because he's an assistant coach. Steve Nash gets fired, then they trade away every like main player on the team. They bring in a completely different roster that plays completely different. And like they still looked okay somehow.
Right.
So
I think that like they won't have much playmaking. And I will say the defense is gonna be great. If they play to their full potential, the defense is gonna be amazing. The offense is gonna get ugly. And with the fact that they have no real playmaker, Mikal Bridges, I love Mikal Bridges to death. As a Nova fan, love Mikal. Really happy about his scoring leap. But that it's an ISO style play, and that teams can scheme up against that.
For sure.
Once teams scheme down the Nets, you could see a lot of very, very ugly offense. In a different style than the Raptors. Like we're referencing back to the Raptors because they are like the gold standard of ugly hoops. The Nets are like kind of the silver medalist of the ugly hoops in terms of that. But like, it could get very ugly. But I am much more excited to watch the Nets than the Raptors for the sole reason that they look like they kind of have a direction. I kind of see what they're building. Yeah. I do see like keeping Mikal, extending Cam Johnson, which was big. That was a very good contract, by the way. 4 for 94 for Cam Johnson. I think Cam J is worth that. He's a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
Fills a need. Perfect modern small ball 4. Big 3. Yeah, I think that's great. And I think they have more of a direction than the Raptors do, to reference back. That's why I have them much further along in terms of they actually look like an actual competent basketball team.
And they also have a lot of assets. I mean, they have like 17 picks. Let me double check, but like they have a ton of picks available.
Yeah,
so
there's them. They were able to like get a lot of picks back from the Harden deal, and then also like sending KD
and they have value. They have valuable picks.
Good picks,
and they got good players.
Like,
they're one of those teams that they're technically going through a rebuild, but
they're reloading.
They're halfway down the track at this point. Like they got a good head start,
and it's not like
Ben
they have
revival away.
That's what
for real.
Like they are like halfway there because it feels like they could definitely try to get like a bigger name player to kind of like lead the offense for that team because Mikal isn't that young of a player. He's like 27 already, so he's kind of like in the prime of his career. Ben Simmons is like kind of supposed to be entering the prime of his career maybe. Cam Johnson was like drafted pretty old. But I mean, yeah, they definitely are like they could trade for. Sorry, the Vikings game had me distracted.
Justin Jefferson just had a nice catch.
Yeah, great catch.
I need 11 more Jalen Hurts rushing yards. That's all I know.
Okay. I think part of the Nets are like we're sick of trading for these superstars and having them bring drama to the organization. I think they're just kind of like fine with just like having a chill season for once.
Yeah, just vibing. Like, back like it's 2018, just chilling and vibing.
They just have like fun players because this team does remind me a lot of that like pre-KD Kyrie team with D'Lo, Jarrett Allen, Rondé Hollis,
Spencer
Jefferson,
Dinwiddie was there.
Spencer Dinwiddie, Theo Pinson. Shout out to Theo Pinson. I love Theo Pinson.
Everybody loves Theo Pinson.
They're able to I think they're in a position to make a big move, but towards youth in like a good way. Like not the opposite of make a move for a star, but they have all these picks and they have some good glue guys that don't really fit how good the team is. Like the reason their offense is going to be ugly is because they have too many glue guys.
Yeah.
So I think package those picks with a glue guy, move up in the draft in the next year or two. I think you could maybe get a playmaker that you want, that you're high on.
Yeah.
And then I think roster construction wise, you're built a lot better. And if Ben Simmons does have a revival, I think you're a really, really good team, or set up to be a really, really good team.
Absolutely. They're the good thing about the Nets right now. Like, I don't think they're a great team right now. I don't think they're like set up to be like a playoff team, but they're flexible. They have flexibility. Yeah. Oh, good catch, Justin Jefferson. They are very flexible, and they can really go in many different ways. I don't know why. Thought popped in my head. Like they could look to Minnesota. I know Ryan's here with us right now, and look for a Karl Anthony Towns trade. I feel like they do possibly have the assets for that. Maybe they have the salaries to match too. Look for a cat trade.
They definitely do.
They definitely do, and I think that could help both parties. Play cat at the 4, Claxton, as Claxton continues to develop. Obviously, it's a little different than the Cat Rudy Gobert situation, considering touchdown KJ Osborne.
Really? Yes. Yeah. I think you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me. I love KJ Osborne.
He's a very underrated, very good number 3 receiver. But what do you call it? It's cat trade could work. That's the first thing that popped into my mind for some reason. They were in the early Dame sweepstakes. That's gone sense. Now. No, that's gone Especially now. They have the chance to make like a sneaky like a cat trade or something, like a star who could use a change of scenery type of thing.
Hey, you guys think the Dame to the Nets is dead?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's dead at all.
I mean,
four of Dave's boys are on that team, and I'm pretty sure
Brendan, Mikal,
DSJ, and maybe it's just 3.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
I don't know, and it's like they were number 2 on his list before he decided
that list.
That
list is opening up.
He's going to go to Boston. I got a weird feeling he's going to go to Boston.
I wanted Boston because if I get Jaylen Brown out of this,
I was saying before. Oh no, I was saying before. That's my thought process. Before the Jaylen Brown extension, I was thinking, all right, Dame's going to Portland. I mean, not Portland. What am I saying? He's staying in Portland. I'm kidding. He's going to Boston.
I'm
whole time it's gonna be Derek White and Al Horford.
I need Robert Williams. I need
Peyton Pritchard going back to the Pacific.
U of O legend. U of O legend.
The Pritch is going home.
Yeah,
that'll be funny. No, for real. I don't know. The Nets are in a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I really think this is just gonna be an interesting team to watch. I really don't know what to expect. Why? I know they're gonna be good on defense. Offensively, can get messy, like we've said. For me though, finishing wise, I think this is I think this will be a play-in team. I think they have too much. They're going to be way too good on defense, where they're not going to get killed every game. So I can definitely see them squeaking out some games when there's going to be a lot of games where they get hot from 3 and the defense is always going to be good. And if you can shoot a lot of threes, make them, and play defense, you're going to win games in the NBA in 2023. So I think I'd have them finishing in 9 seed or 10 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think Mikal, Cam, and Nick Claxton are a really good trio, and I think they're going to win you enough games to be competitive. Yeah. I think if all 3 of those guys continue to stay healthy, like they have, I'm pretty Nick. I actually don't know Nick Claxton. He doesn't have.
He stayed healthy. He stayed healthy. And plus, he plays pretty play style where he's not going to get banged up.
It's a contract year for him too, so he's going to be hooping.
He deserves a bag.
And new rules and all that. If he wants a deep boy, he's got to play 65, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's very much in that contention for deep boy. I think he deserves
100%.
a fair shout. He's a great player.
Yeah, I think
if those 3 stay healthy though, they stay playing. I have them 7 to 10. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got them. I actually think the range of this team could be pretty wide depending on how things break and depending on just how that offense looks. I think they could end up being 7. I think they could end up being 12. If I had to pick, I'd probably say they end up finishing like 9.
Yeah.
I think 9 seems a bit fair.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan. Yeah. Go ahead.
When you say 12, like what teams are you guys putting ahead of them? Like looking at the East right now.
The Magic, I could put ahead of them.
Yep. I think you could argue Magic, Pacers, Bulls. There's a world where the Raptors.
Not the Raptors.
No,
but there's definitely
there's a world. There is a world.
Yeah, there's a world.
The Hornets could end up above them.
Talent-wise, yes, and I do think Steve Clifford is a floor-raising coach in the same way of Tom Thibodeau, but like a worse coach.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility, and LaMelo Ball's really damn good. So
yeah,
I could see
that. I guess
that.
Those are all fair. Yeah, I guess I could see him going down.
Yeah, I will say I'm with Ryan on the 7 to 12 range. Also with him on the 9 or 10 seed where they land. I think they're right around 500. I think they're a team that can sneak up on teams and definitely give a lot of better teams a run for their money just based off their play style, playing really tough defense, shooting the 3 ball, and you're good for like 2 or 3 Cam Thomas explosions a year where he goes for 45 on 23 free throws and then never plays again. Can't wait for that to happen.
I love it.
Yeah, but
he's such a funny
time of the year.
He's such a weird player. He is that so I remember Alonzo Trier with the Knicks. Is Cam Thomas is Alonzo Trier reincarnated, where people were like, "Oh, why doesn't he play?" Well, he doesn't really do anything other than score and just chuck shots. But he's fun to watch sometimes. So yeah, they're going to be a very interesting team. I think interesting in most teams. You think of teams are oh, they're in the play and they're in limbo. They're in limbo, but in a good. They're on upwards trend where they can trend up and be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
All right then. So finishing up then with the Nets, kind of unanimously a 9 seed team, probably around there, somewhere within the play-in. So then moving on, we'll be moving on to the Knicks then. New York basketball. So last year they finished 47-35 with the 5th seed. Really fun year overall. I actually had fun watching Knicks basketball as a non-Knicks fan for the first time in a few years. So but Ryan, I don't know if you want to drop their kind of players rotation that they got going on.
Yeah. So Tyler is actually a diehard Knicks fan and New York sports fan overall. So I think he'll know this rotation better than I do. So if you, I mean, you can suggest any changes or anything to it. But starting lineup, I've got Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. Off the bench, Emmanuel Quickley, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and then Isaiah Hartenstein, Jericho Sims, maybe.
You went you went 9 for 9. Jericho Sims is going to be a situational guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a Deuce McBride, but that's pretty much the perfect rotation. And I mean, any questions you need answered on that, I got you. So fire away.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tyler, how about you start us off then? Just let's hear it.
All right. First of all, last year was unbelievable. Jalen Brunson signing of the offseason, undisputably. Should have been an all-star. I don't know, all NBA. That there was a lot of tough competition, but I think he had a case for a 3rd team just because Ja Morant missed a bunch of games. Trae Young didn't have his best year.
Yeah.
Fox made it though, but the guard pool is weird. Really fun year. Brunson, Randall had a great bounce back year. Obviously, playoff Randall is a thing, not a good thing, but he was hurt. He was not 100%. But RJ Barrett had an up and down year. But he had a really solid playoffs. A couple stinkers in big games, but overall, from top to bottom, I'd say I was very happy with his performance. The young core, I really love our young core. Quentin Grimes is such a fun player.
I love Quentin Grimes.
The way Ryan raves about Jaden McDaniels is the way I will be raving about Quentin Grimes in the very similar mold. Really good perimeter defender, amazing point of attack defender, really good shooter, sneaky athletic, insanely quick first step. And I want to see him with the ball in his hands more this year. I want to see us draw a couple more plays up for him. He's a really capable shooter. Emmanuel Quickley had he finished 2nd in 6th man of the year. Had bad playoffs, but I was very happy with him last year. Unfortunately, the Obi Toppin situation, he got traded to Indiana. But we extend Josh Hart. First of all, the Knicks, we played at a 56 win pace with Josh Hart last year in 25 games. If you didn't believe that, I wouldn't either. Thank you so much, Matthias. Thank you so much.
Hey, no, I'm happy with that trade too, honestly, because he would have left. We would not have. It would have been a bigger shit show than we had now.
Oh. And you guys got Chris Murray from it, so.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So win-win. And Cam, no. We're not going to mention Cam Reddish. Yeah, Cam Reddish. Oh, no, I'm kidding. No comment. Okay. No comment. Yeah, but really like what do you call it?
He figures it out.
Exactly. Well, sure. No, the Nova Knicks continues. You get Dante DiVincenzo. Jeff is very familiar with Don. Yep, exactly. Jeff is familiar. Didn't play during the 2021 championship run. He was hurt, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles.
Yeah,
that's sad, but he got a ring. But yeah, he's a prototypical. He's a guy we needed. That in that mold of 3-and-D, a guy who can stretch the floor and isn't just like at the 3-point line. Does have a little bit of range. Really solid defender. Pretty athletic. Like
he can handle the ball too if needed.
Exactly. Yeah. Very solid role player. A Villanova player. Just if you think of Villanova players, he is a Villanova player in the mold. And like I'm extremely excited for the season again. I wouldn't say the expectations are the same exact expectations as last year. A little heightened because last year we overachieved my expectations. My expectations were like the 6th seed play-in. We won 47 games and could have won more. Made it to the second round. Same year this year, I'd say. Expectations are a second-tier Eastern Conference team. Playoffs. Yeah. Play-in will be disappointment. And making it to the second round. I think that's pretty realistic. I think seeing another leap from the young core, seeing Jalen Brunson continue to take another leap, just not even a leap, just continue to improve and like maybe hit 25 points per game, making his first All-Star team. Julius Randle continues to be solid. Mitch Rob continues to dominate on the offensive boards. Like this is a very solid team. There's no guys that blow you away, with the exception of maybe Brunson.
But I mean, Brunson was really, really good last
year. And even Randall in the regular season was really good.
Exactly, the regular season. But they're very solid from 1 to 9. They play 9-man rotation. Tibbs, love him or hate him. I'm very hot and cold on him. I think that he's the great floor raiser. He's done a great job raising the Knicks floor from laughingstock to playoff team. But is he the guy? I don't know. I personally would have moved him at this offseason or next to the front office, promoted Johnny Bryant, who's the lead assistant, who is very good at player development, has worked with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell pretty much credits him with a lot of his development. I think he's also close with Damian Lillard, a couple other big names, done a really good job. So promote him to head coach, but that's not the case right now. I think this team is similar to last year, very solid, and just solid from top to bottom. All their guys really do their jobs. I do want to see another leap from the young guys. An efficiency leap from RJ Barrett is necessary.
Yes,
but 100%. I'm very happy with how this team is built right now. They have a ton of assets for the future, a ton of first-round picks, in general.
They have a lot of picks, yeah.
They do have a lot of picks. They're very well run. Leon Rose and the front office has turned what he took over, which is an absolute dumpster fire, to one of the most, I'd say, I know it might sound biased, but like one of the most well-run organizations in the NBA right now with a really bright future. So
I think that can really be attributed to what's your owner's name? I forget.
James Dolan.
James Dolan.
He went from horrible to got his hands off. He's done good.
And you know what? That's honestly can be attributed to so many like sports franchises in all sports. Right. Owners who are overly hands-on and they don't know about the actual sport.
Mark Cuban, for example. Mark Cuban's a huge example.
Or even in like the NFL with Jerry Jones being overly invested into everything, always, going over all the but like the Cubs have been good. They just disappoint. But like, or I think the biggest example is like the Haslam family, who now actually are part owners of the Bucks. So like,
so sorry.
in Cleveland, it's fine. They own like 20%. So they said they had a press conference when they bought their stake. They're like, because people know who the Haslams are. So they're like, what do you plan on doing here? And they're like, putting up a check. Like we have no,
we'll give you money. Just keep Giannis in town.
Yeah, literally. So they were like, we just want to win. And we're like, okay, sounds good. Just cut a check for our luxury tax bill every year. But looking at the Knicks right now, 23 picks total. Tradables, that's first and second round picks. I think that might be the highest in the league outside of OKC.
Yeah, a lot of protected picks. A lot of
a
lot of
I really.
We have your 2025, the Bucks, right? 2025. Is that protected in any way?
It's protected 1 through 4.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get it.
Yeah, unless we trade Giannis.
No, Giannis leaves.
To the Knicks.
Feel my pain. Feel my pain.
Giannis, New York.
The Knicks Photoshops have been lifting. They've been coming up slowly but surely. The Giannis ones. Yeah. I'm sorry, slowly but surely. I don't really think that we'll get him, but I would love it.
I've been going through pretty much a mental breakdown on Twitter over the last 2 days.
I've seen. You have Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars to save you.
Yeah, I really do. Another generational talent on one of my teams.
Yeah, right.
I did want to talk about, though, you kind of brought up, Tyler, that the expectations for the Knicks have kind of been the same for like we had that one shitty year where Randall forgot how to play basketball for some reason.
Right.
But
everything went badly.
They went bad and then they were like back to a 6 seed, and we expect them to be
5 seed last year and they beat Cleveland. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, we expect them to be around that tier again. At what point, I know they have picks to trade, but at what point are you worried about cutting RJ Barrett loose or maybe Julius Randle loose or what? Because you don't want to get stuck in purgatory. And right now they have tradable picks, but picks are just picks. And and RJ Barrett, in my opinion, he needs to take another step.
Right.
So what's your gauge on how much you want to wait for you guys to take a step away from being a perennial 5 seed and into the top tier?
So I think that, first of all, Jalen Brunson has 2 real years left on his contract. The final year is a player option. He's going to decline. We're going to max him. That's going to be the way things go.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to attack within that window. RJ, his extension kicks in this year. So he's going to be making like 23 this year, I think, or 25. Obviously, had a disappointing regular season last year. RJ stock is down in general, but at the same time, I'm still a believer. I do think the World Cup, he showed a lot. He played well. Playoffs, he showed a lot, played well, did his thing. The inconsistencies are there. That's the main thing that bothers me.
That's the big thing with the whole Knicks, in my opinion. When I watch their offensive consistency as a whole is just
it's shaky. But it improved a lot in the second half of the year once the rotation got crunched down to 9. For example, like Emmanuel quickly started getting real burn and started playing really well. As soon as the rotation, go ahead.
I'm gonna be dude. So at the beginning of the Knicks season, Emmanuel quickly was not playing well.
He was bad.
And they were talking about trading him, and there was a big discussion for the Bucks if they should trade for Emmanuel quickly. And a lot of fans were like, "No, why would we want Emmanuel quickly? Not good on defense, not efficient." But it's like now it's like, okay, look what he did when he actually got opportunity to just play.
Right.
How
he's a very solid player all around. He can shoot the rock. He is a great floater. Really, he's not an amazing on-ball defender, and he's a solid on-ball defender. But you know how the Timberwolves used D'Lo that 1 year on defense, where he's like kind of like the coach on the court, kind of just like roamer and doing a little bit of everything.
Defensive play caller,
play caller, exactly. Yeah. That's what Quickly was, and Quickly has like 6'10" wingspan, really long arms, got a lot stronger this offseason, and just like helped him finishing through contact. He had an amazing year last year. Obviously, playoffs weren't good, but I take what I can get. He had a really good regular season. I'm really bought in on him. Grimes. I think Grimes is a prototypical, perfect role player for today's NBA. Yeah. And RJ, obviously, very hot and cold player, but I would like to keep him around for the foreseeable future, build around him. Randall, you mentioned Randall. He has, I think, 2-3 more years left on his deal. 3. It's a great deal. It's a great deal, to be honest. Like, obviously, everybody talks about Randall like, oh, he stinks. That's because
I'm not in that camp. I think Randall's really underrated. It's just I don't want to see the Knicks get stuck as a perennial 6 seed.
Exactly, and I think that we have a lot of avenues because I think the Knicks are very flexible right now. I think they have no real bad contracts. RJ Barrett's the highest paid player on the team right now, and that's not a terrible. the play didn't look great, but it's not a crippling contract at all, regardless of what people say. Julius Randle's making what, $25 million a year. Jalen Brunson's making, last year of his deal, he's making $23 million a year. That's unbelievable value. Mitchell Robinson's making $12 million a year. That's another guy whose contract is descending. He's making unbelievable value.
And Josh Hart's contract is really good too.
4 for 81. Dante DiVincenzo 4 for 46. Mid-level exception isn't terrible. It's not bad at all.
And Josh Hart's is a team option at the end of it. So like
it does. I believe
you keep him around and he's kind of dropping off, that decline the option, and also that team option contracts becoming very much more valuable for role players because a team will be more willing to, because it's like, okay, we're not on the hook for him if it's not, if it doesn't work out.
It's a 3-year deal.
And if he's good, we can just pick up the option. So
and then extend him afterwards. And like it's weird because like they have the only real bad contract is Evan Fournier, and he's expiring this year, which honestly could be used in a trade. I think that there's been a lot of trade rumors surrounding the Knicks, whether it's real, false. The Knicks for clicks
we'll get to one of those.
Come back. Right, the Knicks for clicks narrative has come back in full steam since the Knicks have become relevant again. But I think that they could make a couple of trades and swing. They could easily swing for the fences in the next couple of years. They could go get Donovan Mitchell before he gets, hits free agency in 2025. I don't think that's the right path. I don't think that's a smart move. But they have a lot of avenues to make a big move to take that next step. And that's why I'm like very excited about how the Knicks are going about things. I don't want them to make the wrong move and absolutely dead cap themselves at like a 3 seed. But I would like to see where this goes, and definitely when the right guy becomes available, I want to swing for the fences.
Yeah. For me with the Knicks over the last few years, like in the Tibbs Randle era, have been a team that I've gone up and down on just in my head because there is inconsistency with the team. And I remember 2021, especially like that season with when they made the playoffs with Randle as the first option and all that.
Right.
I didn't really like the Knicks back then. I just didn't like Randle as a first option. I thought their team wasn't very good. I'm a Tibbs hater.
So am I at times.
Fair enough.
I think he set the Timberwolves back like years in his time here. But that's
he didn't do a lot of good over there.
That's a different conversation. But
I don't think a lot of people do like Tibbs, considering he is not married and he's 65 years old. I don't think he doesn't even have a wife. So not many people like Tibbs in that sense either.
That's great.
Oh man,
I know.
Don't bring out the personal side.
It just got very personal.
This is what this is what happens when we lose ugly games that we shouldn't lose. I get very angry at Tibbs, but at the same time,
But I saw a lot. I saw a lot in this Knicks team last year that really kind of turned me around on them, especially the playoffs. Like that playoff win against Cleveland, like that was really, really impressive. And it wasn't even just like a 6 or 7 game win. Like the Knicks,
we smoked them.
You guys smoked the Cavs. Like the Cavs were really out of answers in that series. And
produced one of the greatest BR quotes of all time.
Oh yeah,
the lights were brighter than expected.
The lights were brighter than expected.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. We'll never forget that.
And the Knicks are in an interesting spot now, and like you said, they do have a lot of assets and a lot of room to be looking forward to maybe fish for a bigger star than what's on the team right now. And Cat is a name that's been linked to the Knicks for years. You're shaking your head, but like, hear me out for a second. Leon Rose and Tim Connolly apparently had some like casual conversations over the phone this summer. Nothing serious. Like they weren't like making packages up, but this actually did happen. They were shooting the shit a little bit on the phone. And Cat, I think, was kind of what was talked about a little bit. So like, I know you're not going to like it, but what are your thoughts on a potential Karl-Anthony Towns to New York Knicks trade?
All right. So I'll say it right now. If it ain't Anthony Edwards and it ain't Jaden McDaniels, I don't want it. I'm gonna shut it down real quick for you.
All right. Well, it's not either one of those. So we can move on.
I know.
I've been hearing also like through people who have like more sources inside the league that like Embiid is a player that the Knicks have their eyes on. They're watching, like the Knicks are watching this Philadelphia situation very closely, just waiting for it to blow up so they can get their hands on Embiid.
As they should.
As they should. I'm sure you'd absolutely love that.
More than the Cat situation. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah, I think everybody would agree about that. I love Cat though. Shout out to Cat. I love Cat, man. But like
I'm more of a dog guy personally, but you do.
I'm gonna hold back some fighting. I'm gonna hold back some fighting words, but let's stay on topic.
God.
Let's stay on topic. Listen, the Knicks, they've got their eyes on Embiid, Giannis potentially. Sorry, Jeff, but like it's the truth. Like they have their eyes on some bigger names.
Give me 15 picks. I don't care.
15 picks. Well, so like
Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and 2 second-round picks, and Evan Fournier will do.
Second-round
enjoy.
picks.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
We'll take on Thanasis' contract as well. So,
he's
former
there's
as well.
Also, that is hilarious. The funniest part of the offseason as a Bucks fan, all of our moves were very like I knew they were gonna happen, but like hearing that Thanasis got 2 contract offers, it was Bucks minimum contract or Knicks minimum contract. I was like, oh, I wonder why.
That's actually
Leon
hilarious.
Leon Rose,
my God.
Well, Blazers did that with Blevins, James like cousin or whatever. They just signed over.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna work.
I think that's so. I think it's funny though. Really quick, like it's so funny that people get so mad about like the Bucks with like Thanasis, but I'm like that happens a lot more than people think. Like that happens. Like Damian Lee had a roster spot just because he was married to Steph's brother-in-law.
Steph's sister,
yeah, whatever.
Well, it's so funny. It makes no sense.
It's like it happens way more than you think, and it's like even like front office.
Because
like
in part of roster building, when you have those last like 3 guys on the bench that really don't suit up,
right?
Like 3 to 5 guys.
They're there for vibes and leadership.
They're there for vibes and locker room presence, and it's like, who else then? Who your superstar wants to be in the locker room?
Exactly.
Bring his brothers. That's why there's a reason we have the G League rights to all of his brothers too.
Yeah.
That's smart work, especially for a small market team. I mean, like you need to keep your superstar happy, and the Bucks have done that. So,
who are we picking up? Christian Wood? Are we giving Christian Wood a minimum contract instead of Thanasis?
Yeah, no.
Already have Bobby Portis. Like, what's that gonna do?
Kelly Oubre right there.
Kelly Oubre, though, I would like that more.
Yeah,
but anyways,
that's a controversial topic.
Yeah,
you were talking about the Embiid stuff, right? The Embiid stuff with the Knicks.
What I was really just like getting to is asking, like, obviously you're like, if I were to ask what your thoughts would be, you'd love it, but when you think about these things, like potentially being not even a possibility, but something that the Knicks kind of have their eyes on, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's feasible? Do you think?
Yeah.
Are you looking at them thinking like I want them on my team?
Obviously, everybody talks about Embiid's shortcomings in the playoffs. I talk about it a lot because I like to slander Embiid and joke around with Sixers fans. I think it's funny. I'm a Jokic truther, as everybody should be. But real talk, Embiid is a top 10, 12 player in the league. He's a blue chip guy. The worry is that he's a big guy. He's a center, and he's got a massive injury history, and he's 30, which does worry me. That scares me. That's the only reason I wouldn't go after Embiid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's represented by CAA. Our GM, president of basketball operations, is Leon Rose. Leon Rose is CAA, super agent. There's a lot of connections in the NBA with CAA. I think Zion, Devin Booker, Richard Donovan Mitchell's a CAA guy. Basically, the West Coast is clutch. LeBron, LA, the Lakers, that's clutch. East Coast, Knicks, CAA. Not saying we're going to get all the CAA guys, but there are there are pieces being put together. Leon, the front office has their eyes on a lot of guys right now, and it's not like they're not like sleeping. They are aware. They're looking at situations like Giannis. I personally don't think Giannis. I think Giannis is likely a lifelong Buck. I don't think he has any reason to leave. Just gonna make Jeff a little happier.
Yeah,
they have to force him out.
They have to force exactly.
We've talked about it extensively, and like the thing that like kind of makes me laugh about it is it's like he's saying all this, but it's like, yeah, like all of this goes without saying, dude. Like if you have a top 3 player on the league, like if the roster's not committed to winning, but like here's the thing with that really quick. The front office and ownership group of the Milwaukee Bucks has done every single thing possible to appease Giannis's needs and wants. In 2021, in 2020, when we traded for Drew Holiday, Giannis went to the front office after the playoff loss in the bubble and said, here's a list of guys that I would want to play with that are available. Like they had a conversation about that. Drew was on the list. They trade for Drew. They win a championship. Okay. That's what happened. Jealous. So like, and also it's like a lot of people are like, the Bucks haven't been making a lot of moves to bring around new high level talent. What assets do we have to move right now? Next this season, I've talked about it, 2-year window with this core right now. This year and next year, I think if you had this same team, they can be good. I think Chris Middleton's bound for a bounce back season. I think Drew can be good. I'm very excited to see what they look like in this new system and scheme. But it's like until this next draft class, so the 2024 draft, until then, we've had one tradable first round pick. Do you want me to give up one first for? Is it worth trading our one first for who's available for one first? Jared Vanderbilt? Is that moving the needle? No, I'd rather wait 2 years. 2024 draft day, we have 3 first round picks tradable. We have a lot of smaller contracts that can be assembled for a big round star. And also, Drew has a $36 million contract. If you want to move him off, if you want to go really, really crazy and Embiid comes available next offseason, Embiid and Drew is $54 million, which is exactly Embiid's contract. So if you want to go crazy,
who and Drew?
Brooke.
Okay, I'm like you said Embiid, so
there's moves to be made for the Bucks, but
that's
gonna be for later. That's for another conversation. I could talk about that for all day, but I just think it's a lot of media BS right now. Also, really quick, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter. You only tweet basketball when it's Giannis talking about a trade.
I knew that. I was waiting.
I do not get it. I get notifications.
It's pretty funny.
It's literally never have I seen a tweet about the NBA outside of Giannis interviews. I've never seen anything else before.
Boys, I have tragic news. I have very tragic news. The parlay missed.
Oh.
Jalen Hurts did not get 47 rushing yards. Every other leg hit. I am tough. It's whatever. I lost $1. 1 to win 17.
There you go.
But you live and you learn. The Bucks. Giannis is not leaving. But back to what I was saying. Like the Knicks have their eyes everywhere. Like Donovan Mitchell. They definitely have their eyes in that situation.
Oh yeah.
Embiid.
Donovan Mitchell's 100%. Got his eyes on that situation too.
Donovan Mitchell also has his eyes on that situation. However, Donovan Mitchell is a Mets fan and a Cowboys fan. I do not like him as a human being. Real talk. He's probably coming here. I don't really. I expect him to come here. If he doesn't, so be it. The way I've thought about it since the move officially happened when he went to Cleveland, if he comes here, I'm excited. He's a really good player. If he doesn't come here, we kick the shit out of him in the first round. I don't care. Like he could. It could be great. It could be terrible.
Yeah.
But they have their eyes everywhere. Embiid, Donovan. Obviously, people are going to think I'm crazy for this. Devin Booker. If KD, it sounds crazy. I don't think this is happening. This is just where
I think more of someone like LaMelo Ball. It would be more on the.
LaMelo and Jalen Brunson. Actually, that could work, but that's not really. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just more trying to think like stars that would want to ask you out.
Right. I'm saying Book just because KD's not getting much younger. Beal, also same deal. Injury prone, not getting younger.
True.
I don't think this is going to happen. I think Book stays there for a while, but he is a CAA representative guy. I think that's the pieces being put together. And then the crown jewel, Luka Doncic. The Mavericks are super poor. Like the Mavericks are very poorly run. You know, there's a couple of former, the Dallas and New York connections, very, very real, even though Mark Cuban doesn't want it to be. Mark Cuban hates getting fleeced by us. That's multiple times in a row now. But
And the Brunson-Luka.
The Brunson Luka pairing, bring it back together. This is all just spitballing. I don't think any of this happens immediately. This is more so where the Knicks front office will have their eyes on guys that are a fit with this team that can take this team to the next level. I think that the Knicks are in as good of a position as almost anybody in the league, besides like an OKC, maybe the Lakers, just because they're Lakers and they have pull somehow. So, I think the Knicks are in a phenomenal spot. I think the fact that the Knicks are actually good again while being in the top 2 market in the NBA is so huge for how they're perceived. Like, sure, they're not a championship contender, but they are capable of,
they're
getting themselves there in many avenues possible.
Yeah, they're a winning team in one of the biggest markets in the league.
Right, and they're young.
With a bunch of picks, youth, and tradable contracts.
Right. So, I just want to mention last year, the playoff run, the oldest player in our rotation is Julius Randle. He's 28 years old. Wow. We had the youngest. I believe we had the youngest rotation in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Overall, which is really encouraging for me. It makes me really happy. I think that having a youth movement combined with good young but still veteran guys like Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson is so huge to just roster building. I think that with the new CBA, I think the Knicks are really well set up in general. I think that no bad contracts, a lot of flexibility. I think that the Knicks are in a phenomenal spot. I mean, I deserve this. I went through my teenage years watching Derek Williams, Mario Hezonja, Michael Beasley, injured Kristaps Porzingis, and all that. I deserve some success.
Yeah, Mario Hezonja on the Knicks, though, it's a legendary run.
Right, he blocked.
The stepping over LeBron thing is one of the funniest NBA moments of all time.
And blocking LeBron for games, stepping over Giannis, that is the most fun. That's the most fun 17-win team of all time. That being said, Trey Burke was a legend here. Michael Beasley,
Joakim Noah.
No, stop it.
Too far.
Polar bear.
No Joakim Noah. All right.
Yeah, no Joakim Noah here.
Wow.
No, that's more on Phil Jackson than him, to be honest. But that guy was just out there partying, getting drunk and high.
My funniest
during the season.
One of the funniest things was though when Tibbs first came to New York,
right?
And he just signed all
Taj Gibson,
all the Timberwolves and Bulls role players like Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah was there. I think he brought him back for a random.
He did the same thing with the Wolves. He gets hired. It's he trades for Jimmy Butler, and then Taj Gibson's on the team. Derrick Rose is on the team. It's what is going on?
Timber Bulls.
Kirk Hinrich comes out of retirement to start the point guard for us.
Oh my god.
Ronnie Brewer at the 3. That was an unbelievable. Luol Deng. Nah, for real though. Tibbs is a character. But
he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah, man, I'm just happy.
For sure.
Yeah, I haven't been this happy about any of my sports teams in a while. So yeah, the Knicks provide me a lot of joy today, and I would not have said that for the last 10 years since the Knicks tape days in 2013. But we're back.
I don't know, man. You're talking to 3 small market fans here. I'm listening. You'll be I'm a little jealous.
Listen, you've seen the conference finals. Jeff, you've seen a championship. Ryan, you've seen Anthony Edwards' assistance. No, you've seen hustle. You've seen Anthony Edwards and Bo Cruz. Be happy.
I have seen my team blow 4 straight double-digit leads in the Western Conference Finals. Get swept. They led 90% of the series. God! Some of the most pain I've ever had in watching any sport ever was watching that series.
I have to share a fan base with Spike Lee and Stephen A. Smith, so if it makes you feel any better, I have it pretty bad too.
Yeah, I guess I don't have to deal with any of those celebrity fans.
I have to carry the IQ of the Knicks fandom, so
yeah,
I got us.
All right, well then let's get into our prediction. So we'll let you go, Tyler. What is your win total estimation, seeding? Where do you think this team finishes next year?
Between around the same as last year. So between 46 and 60 wins is not 60. Whoa. That would be sick. That would be sick. No, 46 and 50 wins. What do you call it? Add 16 wins to that total at the end too. for the championship. No, I'm kidding. But 46 to 50 wins, 4th to 6th seed. I think that the 4th seed is attainable. I think that with for example, the team we're going to talk about next, with them being a little bit hot and cold, who knows what goes on there. I think we could be around that range, be around Cleveland, Miami. I'm very excited. So 4 to 6, playing would be a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
If everything goes right, 3rd seed. Like if everything clicks, 3rd seed's a possibility. I don't think that's probable, but I think that's the ceiling right now. And 2nd round exit with
I've got
last year.
I've got them the same as last year, pretty much.
Same.
Like 4, 5, 6, I think is where they could end up. It just depends on how things break.
I think there is a world though where there's a lot of teams that there's going to be I think there is a possibility, because I'm actually pretty high on a lot of Eastern Conference teams. I think a lot of these teams are better than people are expecting them to be. I think there is a world where they could be like a 7th or 8th seed if like the win totals are super high in the East only though.
I'm staring you down. I will find you.
If like I think they'll be like the 4th through 6th. Like that's where I think they'll be again. But I think there is definitely a world where there's like a lot of teams that are like going to be around that mid 40s win total.
I agree.
So, I don't want to live in that world. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no.
Even last year, Miami had 44 wins.
Yeah,
right. But I think like a Miami replaces like a Brooklyn in that fold of like the top 6.
But then I agree with Jeff. I'm really high on the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Atlanta Hawks can compete for a mid 40s season. So I think we were
talking.
I think there's a lot of teams that can fit 3 through 7.
Did Cam say that the Hawks would be like a 3 or 4 seed? Like, did they say that there would be above us?
He said
like too crazy, honestly.
Nah, Cam's pretty level-headed.
Yeah, he said
he just loves his team a lot, but
he said that he just wants them to be better than last year. He just said he doesn't want them. He just said like 45, 44, like somewhere in there.
I think we all kind of were like 4 to 6 seed was kind of.
We all kind of
4 to 7.
Yeah, we all kind of really like the Hawks over here for sure.
4 to 7. Wow.
I do think the Knicks are going to be a mid 40s, mid to high 40 team, similar to the Hawks in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I do think they have a higher ceiling. I think they're more of like a 3 to 7.
Where the Knicks are higher than the Hawks?
Yeah.
Oh, I love you so much. I love you so much.
Yeah. Like if I were to bet on either one of them finishing higher, I'd bet on the Knicks. But it's like I think they're going to be similar to. I think the bottom, like I said, 3 to 7 in the East is going to be really competitive.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like you said, what's going on in Philly?
Yeah, Philly.
Well, that's a perfect segment, and we'll talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. Finished 54-28 last year as the 3 seed. Ryan, if you want to give us your quick rotation breakdown of this team.
Yeah, so the first name is James Harden, asterisk. Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid. And off the bench, you got Pat Bev. Shout out Pat Bev. D'Anthony Melton, Paul Reed, Mo Bamba. That's kind of where it runs out right there. But
Daniel House,
I guess, is on the team.
Knicks legend for like one game.
Yeah.
Jaden Springer's a guy. Jaden Springer's a guy that could definitely play.
Yeah.
I'm a Jaden Springer guy. Turquoise Smith guy too.
Yeah.
I like them.
I think just we got to talk about Harden. What do you guys think is going to happen? When do you think it's going to happen? Is the fast food coming out?
I have no idea.
We are about to see in what? When do the playoffs start?
The training camp?
All right, so the playoffs. 7 months from now, 8 months from now, you're about to see the nastiest chowder rage tweet spree in history of Twitter or X now. It's going to get very ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to get very long.
Yeah.
It's going to be hysterical.
I don't know. James Harden, for me, I think literally the only way he can get traded is getting in on another deal. And the only other deal that's happening is the Dame one.
And he's not. He is not.
No, I'm not saying he's going to go to Portland. I'm not saying he's going
to
like
a 4-team or something.
Yeah. So I mean,
if we trade Dame for James Harden,
I would be so sad for you. And not even just for like as a fan, like Scoot and Anthony are supposed to be those guys, and you put James Harden in the equation. What the fuck?
I think
a 4-team does make sense.
But if that were to happen, I think you could do a 3-team where Harden goes to the Clippers, Dame to Philly, and then I think you could also work out bad contracts, 1-year expiring deals, because Portland's going to want to take on those expiring deals. They're going to go to Portland. Maybe a guy like Ivica Zubac. They've been talking about trading him before. If they've been talking about trading him last year, they really like Mason Plumlee as well. What he was doing.
So weird, considering Zoo is so much better than Plumlee.
He's literally just a better version of Plumlee. But they always give Plumlee more run, especially in that playoff runs, which he was actually
millionaire.
Plum God.
Yeah. I'm trying to think though, like what are some good destinations for Harden?
Just
like,
the Clippers.
Use the Harden.
Guangdong Tigers.
Yeah, just the Clippers.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, I'll just quick 1 second segue. Remember, if you guys might remember earlier this offseason, there was like the rumors of James Harden to the Knicks. I was like, I don't know if Woj tweeted or Ian Begley tweeted it.
Yeah.
Knock on wood that this never happens. Those were probably the 3 worst days of my life. I would have actually locked myself in the dungeon if that happened.
Really quick question though. I think obviously you don't want him on your team, but would you do it for like? Never mind. You don't even have another contract.
The answer's no.
I was about to say if you could pair like Evan Fournier if you had another $18 million, but you don't. So
it's like Brunson's better.
Yeah,
Brunson's literally a better basketball player. Like, and it makes no sense.
Yeah,
like, unless you want to play like Brunson next to a secondary playmaker, but then you sacrifice defense. Quentin Grimes goes to the bench. Like that is ugly. Yeah. No, but back to the Sixers. We don't care about James Harden.
Yeah.
With Harden, then you run into the issue. It's like you're not going to get returned back.
Right.
No.
So then
the best
you have
return
to
back.
hope.
The best player they're getting back, because let's be honest, unless Dame goes to the front office and says, I don't care. I just I'll play this season. Whatever. Just like how KD did last year. I'm going to go to training camp. I'm going to play again. Okay, awesome. Whatever. I wouldn't be a fan of it. I really want to watch those young guards develop. I'm super high on all those guys. Yeah, literally. But unless that happened and Miami got in on a Harden deal and they got like Tyler Hero or something, but it's like there's literally only one place that he can go that wants
the Clippers.
It's the Clippers.
Right.
And they have nothing to give back. The best player you're getting back is Norman Powell.
Nah, I would. If I'm the Clippers, I'm not giving him Norman Powell.
At that point, you're gonna get like Terrence Mann and.
Not even. You're getting like Robert Covington. You're getting like Robert Covington, BJ Boston. And
I think you get Mann and like Brandon Boston and like
you could also get
Mann's a good piece, but he's not.
Mann is
like James Harden. It's
gonna be like Marcus Morris too.
Oh, obviously, but James Harden's also
Clipperman.
Expiring. Yeah. Clipperman. I forgot about him. Knicks legend.
No, he's not leaving.
Big
Robert Covington's
big Marcus Morris fan. We love Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
For one reason, two reasons only.
Yeah.
Marcus Morris.
That's all. Clipperman.
For sure. I don't know.
This roster can fill the role.
So,
do you guys think Maxey can fill that role? Because odds are Harden's gonna leave.
Not playmaking wise, but scoring. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Scoring wise, yes. Playmaking, absolutely not.
I can see that because they're not gonna get anything back, and they're gonna get glue guys. So then you have to hope that Maxey or for some reason Tobias Harris comes back.
Tobias Harris.
That's all you got.
What a goat.
Yeah, that was a great season for the Clippers. But I don't know. This roster, I'm really low on this team.
So am I.
This team they're blowing it up after this. I'm so confident. If there's a team I can point to and say they're trading their best player, it's this team.
Joel Embiid is coming to the Knicks.
Yeah, I literally
wait one more year. Dame, just wait one more year.
Yeah, Dame, just wait one more year.
Wait one more year.
I think this could get even nasty where it's like this could get really nasty for this Philly, and it could be like mid-season trade request.
Especially with it could get ugly.
Like Embiid does not care.
Oh no! And then you got Nick Nurse in there trying to play and be like 40. New coach.
And the Nick Nurse hiring, why? Why?
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. His play style and coaching style does not fit this roster at all.
He's just Doc Rivers with glasses.
Yeah. Like I don't understand, man. Like I think this team is not going to be good. I think they're going to be. I think this is another Joel Embiid carry year. Like
they have zero direction, and they are obviously not like on the tier of the top 3 teams of the East.
Yeah,
sure, they might have a better seeding year than Miami, but let's be honest, Miami's the better team. Yeah. They're sure as shit ain't better than Boston. They'll never beat Boston in this series, and they're not better than Milwaukee. So
yeah. Like this team, I feel like is just like I'm waiting for them to implode.
Yeah,
at this point.
They are a ticking time bomb. They've been a ticking time bomb since Jimmy Butler didn't resign. Yeah. They are a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, and
I do think though they can recover it.
You think so?
I think they can. I think they, in a way, I think if they succeed this year, and it all has to happen on the Harden trade and Maxey. That's the 2 things.
Yeah. And wait, how?
And depending when they get back, depending when they get back from the Harden trade, and if Maxey does take a step up, regular season wise, I don't see how they'd be much worse of a team, and maybe even
I don't think. I don't think that the regular season will ever be a question for a team with the.
But then, if they're but I'm saying like team wise outside of Joel Embiid, like if you do,
they got like Maxey. I would like to see Jaden Springer get burned.
Yes,
like that Jeff you mentioned him. Yeah. We'll like him to get a lot of burn. D'Anthony Melton off the bench is a really solid role player.
Yeah.
I just think there's a way they get younger. They get younger, better at defense, a little more versatile. Even if they don't get a quote unquote good return of what you want from Harden,
they desperately need that.
They can fill out the roster enough to still be same level in competitiveness and the youth, and maybe they have some movements to keep Embiid around. Like I don't think Embiid is for sure gone.
They could take
even though I would bet on it.
Yeah, I'd say like in this case where you're going with this, I'd say they could take like 2 steps back, like 2 or 3 steps back immediately, fall off a little bit, try to do whatever they can to keep Embiid happy, and then go full youth movement. Will it keep him happy? Absolutely not. He'll be gone the first moment he can. Yeah. But at the same time,
I don't think they'll do a full youth movement, but it's more of like they reload with like these mid youth guys that are like 24 and 26 or whatever.
Right. Which could be honestly be good. It could be like blessing this guys.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't see how they become a championship contender. Like for a little bit,
they won't be.
We thought they were like on that edge, but I don't.
2019 was last year. They were like legitimately like, oh shit, that team is like scary. When they had Ben, Jimmy, Tobias, Embiid, and a bunch of other guys, and then Kawhi, JJ Redick, and then Kawhi decided to rip out the heart of Philadelphia, as he should. I'm so proud of you, Kawhi. Great man.
No, he should have missed that shot because we would have steamrolled that team.
You got a championship anyway. Be grateful.
Yeah, okay? No, I'm not complaining.
Be grateful. I haven't seen one,
bro. If I'm gonna be honest though, really about that year, if we win with Giannis with like truly no bag, nothing but like literally just getting to the rim and dunking,
run and dunk, man.
Yeah, literally like pure that, like literally nothing else, no playmaking. If we run a ring with that, man, that would have been nuts. Eric Bledsoe will pay for his crimes.
Eric Bledsoe I used to think Eric Bledsoe was sick. I was a stat watcher. Listen, I was an Eric Bledsoe stat watcher. I thought that guy was nasty just because he could jump really high when he was with the Clippers in 2K, and I would run him and Chris Paul together and just throw lobs to him, and then like Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. I thought it was the most fun thing in the world. And then his stats looked good when he was with Phoenix, and then I watched him play. I was like, okay, this guy kind of stinks. This guy kind of stinks at basketball. And then Drew Holiday came along, and then we know Drew Holiday is very good at basketball, even though he can't score in the playoffs. But defense is there.
Yeah. Honestly, though, for the Sixers, I don't think there's much to talk about because I just don't know what this roster is going to look at. I think there's going to be a lot of roster turnover soon.
Right.
For me, I think they have Embiid. I don't know if Harden is going to go like fat suit Houston style, then this team is going to be bad right away, like really bad. Right. But I think this is still like a mid. I think if it's like sabotage season for a lot of these guys, it's going to be like 48 wins. But if it's like, okay, we're still trying a little bit, it's going to be like 51. maybe.
Right. That's
probably like the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Yeah. I want to give them a little more credit than other East teams I have, just because they have Embiid. Because I have Knicks finishing around 3-7. I think Philadelphia, I'll give them like a 2-5 range, where if everything goes well, they get good glue guys that like fit better than expected, and Maxey steps up. I could see them being like with Embiid's production. I think they could be like a 2 seed that's a second round exit.
Right.
Which is what they've kind of been.
Yeah.
But maybe like a little worse, like an uglier 2 seed that has an uglier second round exit, or maybe even like a first round upset, because like they're not as well built.
Yeah.
Ryan, you got anything?
Yeah, I got everything. Pretty much the same.
It's pretty much the same. Yeah, I think my prediction for them would be anywhere from 2 to like 6. And if I had to choose where they could like actually end up, probably like 4, 5. Yeah, we just have no idea what the roster will look like a month from now, let alone come trade deadline. So
I mean, there are more questions than answers, and I know Philly's not going to like that, considering Allen Iverson is literally their franchise god to answer. But there are many more questions than answers. I think 3 to 6 seed. Maybe they'll make the second round, and they will get absolutely railed by Boston like they do every single year. Nothing changes. Some things just never change. There are 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Philly getting absolutely smoked by Boston in the playoffs.
It's true. It just happens every year.
Yep.
Every year. Literally every season, man.
Every single year. And it's like
they had a chance to beat them this year too, man.
Right.
So
the fact
stupid.
that they let Tatum go like 1 for like 25 and then still lose that game is embarrassing. In game 6.
It's so embarrassing.
And then Tatum went for 50. Like the funny thing is that like they lose to Boston in different fashions. Like that one year where they like Marcus Morris like threw up the 3 to like Joel Embiid's face, where like I think they got gentlemen swept or they got swept, and then they'll lose in 7 in the most embarrassing fashion in the way possible, and then they'll lose in 5, and they'll lose in 7, and they'll lose in 5, and it's constant. It's very funny every single time.
They are a hilarious team. Also, shout out all the Philly fans. Lost 3 championship series last year.
Unbelievable.
They lost. They lost in the Super Bowl, lost the World Series, and lost in the MLS finals.
Yeah, couldn't happen to a better city. So
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a great sports year. It's just like a bitter.
I would be so sad, dude. I would be so sad.
But like, also, you're like, your team's so good, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like it's.
I've never been a fan of a team like that good. I guess.
Bro, you're a Packers fan. You had.
I've never been like a football fan though. Like,
okay, sure.
I was never really invested in that.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were a Packers fan until like beginning of like late off season.
Yeah,
I thought you were like a Seahawks fan or something.
I pay attention I pay attention to the first 6 weeks of football every year, and then
then basketball season hits.
Yeah,
that's real. I respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, then we can move on to the final team. Should be a quick talk. There's really not much to talk about there. Boston Celtics finished number 2 in the East last year at 57-25. Made some big changes this year. Bringing in Kristaps.
They had the biggest offseason,
yeah. Bringing in Kristaps, trading away Marcus Smart. But I don't know. Ryan, why don't you get into the basic players then?
Yeah, so for this team, their rotation is going to be a bit thin. Starting lineup: Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Porzingis, and I put Robert Williams in at the starters, and then I think Al's going to come off the bench just because Al's getting old, and because Porzingis is a spacer, you can let Robert Williams be out there. And then off the bench, Peyton Pritchard, who everyone thought was going to get moved this offseason,
I thought he
is still on the team because spots opened up at the guard position, so he's still on the team. Malcolm Brogdon is still on the team. Al Horford, and then like if I had to pick a 9 and 10 for them, it's like Sam Hauser, O'Shea Brissett, who I don't think play very much, especially late in the season or in the playoffs. Like they're not playing at all. So there are a lot of places to begin with this team because I don't know about you, Tyler, but I think Matthias, Jeff, and I are a little bit low on the Porzingis trade overall.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about it on this podcast a ton of times. I think it's I think taking away the best playmaker on a team that already has had playmaking issues for many years, I think is risky, and I think that could be really bad for them. I think Porzingis is obviously a very, very, very good player, but only can play one style defensively.
Right, it's drop,
which is like a deep drop. Can't do anything else on defense. Yeah. And when it comes to
Boston
offense,
does love to do that though.
Yeah, Boston does run a deep drop a lot.
Yeah,
which could help.
Which it works in the scheme. So that's
right.
But playoffs, and we've had this, like every team has this problem. Sorry to interrupt, but like the Bucks had this problem with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is like DPOY level defender.
Really
playoffs can't move his feet on a switch. Certain playoff series can't play. Can't play.
Yeah.
And
play Bobby POTUS, baby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
So it's same thing with him.
I know he's terrible defender himself.
Yeah, that clip of him getting cooked by that like IG trainer was hilarious.
I love Bobby.
But yeah, if you want to continue, Ryan, with whatever you were saying.
And then like offensively with Porzingis, it's like, to be 7'3" and to shoot like he can, that's really nice. But like when it comes to low post scoring, it gives them like a new wrinkle in the offense there. Like it's another thing they can go to. But is that something that I felt like they needed to be looking for this offseason? No. Like I think it's a swing for a star. If they had given up, and what they're giving up for him to do, like if they had given out Malcolm Brogdon like they were originally going to, I would have loved it. But losing Marcus Smart, I think, is a big hit just because he's been so much of what this team has relied on as far as like a locker room presence. He's provided their identity. He's been like the real leader of this team. Like we haven't really seen, at least from the outside, that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going to be those like vocal leaders to kind of like be those rah guys in the locker room like Marcus Smart has.
Right.
And Marcus Smart, I think, is like really good defender, really good playmaker, underrated playmaker for that team. Can shoot sometimes.
Can shoot in big games.
He'll take the big shot
player.
too.
Big game
he's
player.
He's done it a lot. Like he's shown that he's a reliable shooter now.
Right. And he's a playoff riser, it feels like. Every big game, it feels like he steps his game up to a huge level.
And he was primarily taking the big shots for Boston. Like a lot of times they would just be like, and then Mark Smart just run up, get the ball, and be like, "Fuck it, I'm shooting this."
Fuck it.
Like, y'all standing around doing nothing. Give me the ball. I'm gonna at least try to get a bucket. And it's like,
hop in his little Oklahoma State bag.
Yeah.
Just start shooting the shit out of the ball. I mean,
they need that aggressor, and JT is like been capable of taking over games, but he's shown to be passive a little bit for like last second shots.
Right.
So maybe he takes over, but we'll see.
I think he will. He's way too good not to.
He's an unbelievable player.
I just hate it. It was so weird though. Like every single time you put up Boston Celtics game, it's close at the end. They need like a go-ahead shot or a shot to extend the lead. The ball is in. Marcus Smart is shooting that a crazy wing three every time.
And it goes in every time. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It goes in. At least
so
against
weird.
us. I mean, he's one. I think he's one of like 3 recipients, or 4 now, because Julius Randle had one against the Heat, of the double bang from Mike Breen. It was against us. Opening night, 2021 opening night. So I'll never forget that. Marcus Smart is a big game player.
No, I think they're gonna miss him.
Yeah, they're gonna miss him dearly. I will say, I agree that if it was Brogdon, that's a home run trade. Malcolm Brogdon's not good enough player to where it's, oh wow, because like he's only been there for a year. He's not the heart and soul. Like, all due respect, I am a very slight Malcolm Brogdon hater because I do think Quickly deserved the 6th man of the year, but that's neither here nor there. Brogdon's a very good, solid player, but he's not Marcus Smart. He's not as good.
Yeah,
he's a better offensive player, but he's nowhere near the defender, and he's nowhere near the big game player. Marcus Smart is that. He's literally the heartbeat of that team.
He is,
and losing a heartbeat is I mean, it kills you. But
Yeah.
I do think I will say, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But like about the playmaking part, I think the defense. First defense. Marcus Smart's a great defender, but they have defensive personnel to make up for that. Derek White, I think he's a better defender. I think that might be a controversial take. I don't know.
I agree. Last year,
especially. Right. Last year, especially. Jaylen Brown.
Defense
really
is so hard.
What
Sorry,
happened?
go ahead. Defense is so hard to grade. Like,
it's
a lot of it's just like
hard to grade.
Yeah, a lot of it's like they're argue if there's similar tiers.
Right. Eye test, a couple of advanced statistics that but like still, it's hard to grade. That being said, Derek White, great defender. Jaylen Brown, great on-ball defender. Probably the worst off-ball defender I've ever seen, but he might have ADHD.
He does get lost a lot.
Right. Yeah. He's just like me for real. He has ADHD. He gets distracted.
I get it.
Jason Tatum, phenomenal defender. Al Horford, Time Lord. They have the personnel. Add Porzingis, that's a great shot blocker. They're going to be fine there.
Yeah.
Playmaking, yes, losing Marcus Smart's huge. Derek White's not much of a playmaker, but I'd say you're kind of banking on Tatum really taking a huge leap playmaking wise, and I think he's capable. I think he's really capable.
Yeah,
I think he averaged 5 assists a game, and I think he's a really capable passer. I've seen him make some really impressive kick out passes.
Yeah,
I don't know about like running a pick and roll and like leading that.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, there's a difference between being a good or a great passer for your position, and then being able to take like on the lead playmaking reins to your team, which is what the Celtics would be asking Tatum to do.
And also the problem is I think that Tatum has shown flashes, like you said, as like when he's getting to the paint, he can play make. If the rare occurrence that he posts up, he can play make out of that.
But the offense could get very stagnant.
That's the problem for me. The offense looks so stagnant at times, so 3-point shot chucky. And like you need a real playmaker to get you out of that. Like you need like a playmaker to get you
tell
out
me they don't remind you kind of like their offense, especially of like the Clippers kind of, where it's two sick wings.
Yeah.
But they don't have a point guard. And they don't have anybody to move the ball and take the reins and be like, all right, we're going to start swinging the ball. They stop playing ISO ball. They don't really have that.
Yeah.
And that kind of does worry me a little bit.
Yeah.
100%. JT's next step is that he's a good passer, like skill-wise.
Right. Capable passer.
But he's really only making simple reads, and he's making reads out of the easiest positions. The easiest positions to make out of are post-ups and driving kicks.
Right.
Because that's when everyone sucks in. And like you said, the step, Tyler, for him is making the medium to high level and even like elite level reads out of the pick and roll. And he's got to start at the medium level, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we've seen flashes of it, but
consistency.
Yeah, 6. I need for me to feel confident, maybe not like a huge assist number improvement. But
I'd say
the
like
way he gets his assists needs to be a lot more offensive engine based.
And I'd say like a 3-to-1 turnover ratio, like a 6-to-2. I think I'd be very encouraged by that. Obviously, let's be honest. Jaylen Brown, love him or hate him. I think he's a really good player. Amazing play finisher. Really good scorer.
Yes.
Not a playmaker.
Not a passer.
Has zero on-ball ability. Cannot pass the ball. Cannot dribble with his left hand. That's we all know about that. Very notorious.
Yeah.
The jokes about it. But like they need a playmaker. I mean, I feel like they're a team where they're what do you call it? They're a piece away. And it's not like a big piece away. I think it's just like a depth piece away. Obviously,
I'm really glad that you mentioned the Clippers because I've never thought of it like that. But
I just thought about it.
It is very true. That's a really good comparison because like
you watch their games and you see like I remember I don't know if it was Clippers. Was it Clippers versus Bucks? Like some random regular season game last year where the Clippers just didn't score for the last like 3 to 4 minutes of the game. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? It's just
I know it was a crazy Giannis game.
Was it Clippers? It was Clippers Bucks.
Yeah,
yes, that's the only reason I clicked. I was like, they didn't score for like the last 4 minutes. It's
Yeah.
Kawhi Chuck. It was a rare off Kawhi game.
Yeah.
Kawhi's very efficient, obviously.
Yeah.
Kawhi's chucking. He's missing. PG's missing. Their offense is just all ISOs and three balls. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? Get to the rim, pressure the rim, get a shot, or kick it out to somebody who's not breaking every single shot.
Yeah.
And the Celtics have that problem a lot. I watched them play against my team, like watch them play against the Knicks. I like to joke that the Knicks own them. We kind of do over the last couple of years. It's just watching them. It's very predictable what they do.
Yeah.
We have the personnel to match up with them, like where we have a lot of really good wing defenders, and even like RJ, like he's not a really great wing defender. He's a capable one.
Yeah,
he plays well. He plays really
capable.
Yeah,
enough,
he plays really well against them defensively. And it's like you watch them like when the Celtics get matched up against teams with like really good wing defenders and like guys who will pressure the ball nonstop.
Yeah.
They struggle. Like the Heat, you throw Jimmy at them, you throw Caleb Martin. Even Strus isn't like a great defender, not a really good defender, but he's capable of getting stops here and there. They have guys like exactly, and then you got Bam running like the show as the versatile. Yeah. You know, we talk about Bam. Rudy might spawn if we keep on talking about Bam, but like Bam being like the best or one of the best defenders in the league. Yeah, it's like guys like that will just absolutely they'll funnel like the Celtics attack toward the 3-point line, make them beat you by shooting bad threes, and it's so predictable. Like the Celtics offense. Yes, I do see why you guys are kind of low on the Porzingis trade. At first, I was like, all right, like I'm neutral on it. I think that they first of all they got back a top 4 protected first from the Warriors, I believe, in that trade via Memphis. Memphis has Golden State pick. That's good. They got a first round pick out of it. But yeah, losing the defense, not worried about it. Losing their best playmaker. I think we are all banking on Tatum playmaking leap to neutralize and kind of offset that.
Yeah.
But
no, that's
what we got to see now.
That's what that's what I've said the whole time. I've also the biggest, like probably the biggest thing outside of scheme, any basketball being played. Kristaps is very, very injury prone.
That's what I was about to say.
A lot
of players in this team are.
He's got plantar fasciitis already.
Yeah, and like last year, literally, like played his most games in like 4 years. It was like 65 games.
Yeah, you had career year and everything, and just he stayed healthy. Yeah, and that's very rare. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, this entire team
I know all too well.
This entire team is like injury prone. It feels like, we just said how their rotation's a little bit thin. Like come playoff time, they're only going to be running like 8 guys.
Brogdon especially.
Yeah,
Malcolm Brogdon is always Malcolm Brogdon's always hurt. Kristaps Porzingis is always hurt. Time Lord is always hurt. Al Horford is 38 years old. He's going to be hurt. Marcus Smart was an Iron Man. He was never hurt. He was always playing for them. Derek White.
Even then, like Tatum and Brown, they don't seem to be like they're never like out with injuries.
Well, they
get like every playoff series, Tatum, his shoulder hurts. He has a shoulder sprain. He has a wrist injury.
Hard style basketball.
Yeah.
It catches up to him.
Same thing with Jalen. He has like a wrist, and also that's on the coaching staff in the organization. These dudes are playing like 42 minutes a game, like 40 minutes a game. Why?
They need more. Like what I mentioned,
they're beating every team by like 10, 15. They're still in the game.
They're a good. They're exactly like why are we letting Tatum stat bad? Hey man, not gonna hate on it.
I agree.
I'm not gonna hate on it because like to see Tatum
that's
score,
like,
but
and that's like I think the best example of this, just because I'm a Bucks fan. For example, 2018, 2019, Giannis won his first MVP over Harden, who played like a ton of minutes because he has a lot of close games in that really competitive West, and he was averaging like 36 a game. Giannis won the MVP with like way less numbers, but it's like, because he's blowing every team out, so they're not playing him in the fourth. He's not playing the fourth quarter.
Like
so,
Steph,
it's like
that's why Steph stays so fresh during the playoffs because they were blowing teams out during. I mean,
exactly.
They had a super team, but still.
And minutes, young, non-super injury prone, where it's like big injuries like sprains, tears, stuff like that. Players like that, the injuries still rack up over time. You're still getting beat down in your body. You're playing a professional sport for 8 months straight. Like,
and let's be honest, like the play styles that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have are pretty physical. I'd say they get to the rim a lot, take a lot of contact.
Yeah, a lot of contact.
That's going to add up.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I think, but at the end of the day, this team is the best or the second best team in the East. It's 1 or 2 seed range.
Yeah.
I don't really. I think they could be the 2 seed. I think they're going to have some injury issues. I think this rotation is going to get really nasty if injuries do pile up. I think there's going to be stretches where it's just going to be really bad. Like
there's going to be a lot of bad hoops in between. It's going to get ugly. But yes, they're going to be top 2 seed in the East. I did try to mention earlier that I think that they are going to make a couple trades at the deadline to get a couple of big-time role players. Yeah. I think they're in prime position to do that, to put them over the top. Because right now they have the talent. They don't have the depth. They can get the depth via trade. And I think they can do it. I think that they're a top 2 seed in the East. Eastern Conference Finals at worst. Let's be honest here. It's expectation every single year.
I think they could lose in the second round. I think it's not crazy to say they lose in the second round.
They can get They can get the bad matchup.
Yeah, like say
like a Miami maybe.
Somehow, yeah.
You're gonna have to play. You're playing Miami or Milwaukee in the second round.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Knicks, yeah.
If we play them, we're beating them. I'm just saying, put my money on that. I'm so serious when I say that.
Yeah, Miami and Boston, it's like you can't bet against them at all.
Right, yeah. You cannot. They're going to face each other one way or another.
Oh, yeah. I think I am a little lower on the Celtics seeding-wise because I did, having the Sixers up, I think they can actually pass the Celtics. Because, like we've said, there's a lot of issues where if everything for the Sixers goes right, like I've said, Maxey fills a hole, role players fill. I think, and everything goes bad for Boston. Injuries, playmaking becomes a bigger issue.
Which is much more feasible than like we think. It's not like everything goes right, everything goes wrong. It's like kind of feasible. It's like Boston.
Yeah. The way I'm wording it sounds like it's extreme, but it's like but it is realistic.
It's very possible.
Yeah, it's very possible for Porzingis to struggle with this injury that he sustained.
It will happen. And not even likely, not even possible. It will happen.
It already happened. Like it happened.
Yeah, it
already happened.
Not even trying to be a hater. Not even trying to be a hater.
Yeah,
because he was on the Knicks. It happened.
Yeah, and then Rob Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Al Horford. We talked about they don't have depth. They could find themselves as a 3 seed, or maybe like what I mean, like just maybe a little disappointed in the regular season. Come playoff time, though. It'll be one of those things like I wouldn't be surprised if they were the 3 seed if they won the championship. Like, they're gonna be a top team in the league.
Yeah, I think that they'll figure everything out come playoff time.
Yeah. Would I count on them? All the moves they make is with winning the championship in mind. And obviously, if they're a contender for the championship, but like. I definitely don't think they're the favorite, and I definitely don't think they're even the second favorite right now. I think they're probably like the third, maybe fourth, depending on like what things look like right now. I don't know. We can't. It's like obviously
it's Denver versus the field right now.
Only one team can win the championship, and until a team can come up with a consistent answer for Jokic, it's like
it ain't Porzingis, I'll tell you that.
It's not Porzingis. Who knows what it is at this point. But yeah, we'll see. This Boston is it's like you look at what they've done, and since 2017, I think they've only missed 2 Eastern Conference Finals.
Right. They're so well run.
They're there every year. And
they're a highly competitive team at home.
Exactly. And Jaylen Brown is 26, Jason Tatum 25. That core could be there for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
They're going to be good. They're going to be really good.
Yeah. Well, then that concludes our Atlantic Division preview. Went through all those teams. If you guys want to see, I forgot the division names. I'm so bad with them. We went through the Southeast Division last week with Cam. Went through all of those teams. So if you want to check out those teams, which is Miami, Atlanta, Washington, Orlando, and Charlotte, if you have any fans of that team, go check that video out. But then to wrap up, Tyler, give people your socials. Let them know anything that you want about anything you're working on or anything you're doing right now. So give you the floor for that.
So socials. Follow me on Twitter or X at Who Is That Kid? HUISTHATKID, greatest username of them all. Same on Instagram. Don't really use Instagram that much. I mean, I have it. It's there. But what else? What am I working on right now? Getting below 90 on my golf score. Getting there.
Yeah.
It isn't happening yet.
About golf, dude.
Yeah, I got a new driver yesterday. We're playing a lot of golf. Yeah. I'm playing Saturday with my old college roommate, and then Tuesday I'm playing with my dad and my college roommate. We're gonna go out, and then we're gonna play a lot. The boys are buzzing right now, so a lot of golf. That's pretty much the life right now. Golf, job application. So if anybody wants to hire me for sports marketing or sports management, marketing, advertising, here's your boy. That being said, nothing much to plug. Just subscribe to Soul Hoops.
Yeah,
correct. That is where it's at. Subscribe to the channel.
Got to plug.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, Tyler. Appreciate everyone for tuning into this video. We had a long one today, but it was a great video. A lot of good talk on everybody. So, like Tyler said, sub to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Down in the description, we'll have links to Tyler's socials, all of our socials, the Who Has Hoops community. If you want to talk ball with a bunch of other NBA fans, feel free to go on there on Twitter. A lot of good talk with the season starting. So, go down there and we'll get you put in there. And appreciate everyone. Peace out.
Peace.
Throw up the W's.